Oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Do you know what today is?
Hump day.
It is hump day. I'm so excited. Hey, are we supposed to get like 1 million inches of snow here? Hey, Murtech just rated our stream. Again, what does that mean?
She sends all their listeners or viewers.
Oh, well, that's nice. Thanks, Murtech. Hey, jump in here and tell us about yourself. You've done this a couple times, and I think that's sweet. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hi, everybody. It's hump day. Oh, my goodness. We are supposed to be getting all sorts of wacky weather here.
Yeah,
Wow.
like yesterday, 12 degrees. Today, 36.
Well, what is I think it's supposed to be really terrible over the weekend. And I mean, like, granted, it's
in
freaking,
some places.
it's winter, so it is what it is. Let's see. It says Saturday, 15 degrees is your high, 12 is your low. Woof. Very cold. Can you guys imagine being homeless this time of year? Have you ever thought that? Like,
No, but
it's just
I've had
awful.
my gas go out this time of year. I had a leak.
Oh my God, that's scary.
3 days when it was like I had space heaters going.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? Yeah, storms headed your way, apparently, says Alexander Petrocius. I think so. Or Patroclus or whatever it said. I don't have my glasses on. What's going on, everybody? Hey, prayers for Darius. Prayers for Darius. His mom just unexpectedly passed away. And you guys are part of my family, so that just sucks.
Yeah, not the way to start a new year or anytime.
But it's good to be with you. So we'll be thinking about him as he's going to be away for a few days. I'm sure he's going to have a lot on his hands, but I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being a part of it. Hey, if you're new, we are easy, cheap and easy. How about free? How about that? That's how it goes, which is why we're always so excited you're here. Let's see. What do we want to do? Do we want to say anything? I really don't need to talk about any of our sponsors just yet. Let's see how you guys are doing. I haven't caught up with just you. Tell me where you are. Tell me what's going on. It's great to be with you. It's great to be with you. So apparently Trump is at Davos right now speaking in front of the world, and it is quite a captive audience. I will say that. The globalists and all sorts of other people are there, and they're like, what's this guy going to say? And he just drops it. He's like, we're the first to offer assistance. We're the last to ever ask for help, and you never offer it. And I'm telling you, I want freaking Greenland. And we're going to get Greenland, and we're not going to pay 1 red cent for it. And we're not going to have one soldier there. We're going to build, we're going to drill, we're going to dig. We'll do it environmentally consciously. Yes, we'll follow all of the rules, of course. But we're going to have so much wealth that we can share with the people of Greenland, and we build a golden dome. Okay?
Kylie McElhaney made a great point. Kaylee, whatever. Made a great point yesterday. I saw her say that you don't want Greenland to be the 51st state because they're extremely liberal and have social programs, and that's how people vote. She's like, 2 more Senate seats to them. She's like,
Any more than I think legitimately Trump wants Canada to be. But you know who's all going to be protected by this defense shield, this missile defense shield, the Golden Dome? Oh, North America.
The world
Amazing.
just NATO.
Yeah.
Let's just say NATO has been sucking off the teat of America for so long. Like, this is his way. The tariffs are his way of saying, I'm going to get your 5%. You can pledge all you want. I'm going to get it.
Oh, Murtech says, hey, I maintain a platform where I go share your stuff and 50 other channels to spread no nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're here. We ended up number 4 yesterday, by the way, which is huge. We've almost already hit 1,000. That means 1 out of every 2 of you has already hit that Rumble button. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So what about the other 2?
Well,
what about the other one?
Well,
of those
they've
two?
got other stuff they're doing. So what are you going to do?
I don't like that again.
I mean, hit the rumble button if you think I'm fabulous. I know,
Or just
right?
hit it anyways.
Anyway, we've got some.
Anywho.
So Brock and I decided we looked at the first half hour of the show, and as we were listening to both Scott Bessent and President
you guys
Trump,
think hear his sound.
it is just great. It's great. So we're going to end the half hour with Scott Bessent. We plugged him in, which is important. And we plugged in a little President Trump from Davos as he walks out onto the world stage and basically drops the hammer. He is intimidated by no one. He seems very worried about nothing.
Calling out everyone.
Everyone, but basically the globalists. And so did Howard Lutnick.
Yeah.
Howard Lutnick yesterday
knocked out
was like unreal. So it's wonderful to hear people who aren't Alejandro Mayorkas, Merrick Garland, and Kamala Harris, right? It's nice to have some intelligence around.
Yeah, we haven't been used to that for the last 5 years.
A while. Well,
4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America. Good afternoon to all of you. Greetings and welcome to the Wendy Bell radio program. Delighted to share some common sense conservative values with you. You know, the stories we're going to talk about today, they're developing, right? Things are happening. Chess pieces are moving. And I got to say, just listening very briefly to the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, deliver his remarks to the World Economic Forum and ostensibly the entire planet. I'm proud. I'm proud of my president. I'm proud of the Commerce Secretary. I'm proud of our Treasury Secretary. I'm proud to be an American, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to be proud too. For so long, we were told that we were bad people, that we were racist, that we're hateful, that we're a mean-spirited country, that we owe the world an apology. You know what? No, we don't. And we have a president who just on stage in front of the world planted the American flag, and I love it. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, it's interesting when you don't ever ask for help, and though you are the person that people turn to for it. The president said something very interesting on the world stage at Davos, Switzerland. Look, this is where all the globalists, this is where the imperialists, this is where the big, deep, dark pockets of cash flow. This is where ideas and the creme de la creme rub elbows and pretend to be influential or important. But there is one person who sucks the oxygen out of the room, who captures every single flash cube, who everybody stops to listen to, like the old 80s ad, E.F. Hutton. You guys remember that if you're my age or older, right? It's Donald Trump. I want you to hear a few of the things that he said, because you know what? He makes a great comment. And I just heard this. We didn't clip it for you right here for the program yet. But listen, and this is what he said. All we want in front of all of these people. And he's like, you know what? We never ask you for anything. When something happens in the world, we're your first phone call. I'm the first person you call when you need help, when you need food, when you need missile defense, when you need protection, when you need ammunition, when you need anything, who do you call? You call the United States. And you know what we don't do? We don't ask for favors back. We don't keep a running tally. There's not some little black book with a rubber band around it that we open up and see who owes what. We do what we do because we are the most benevolent, kind, gracious people the world has ever known. And it's damn well about time the rest of the world start acting like it. That is what your president said. And he said very calmly, you know what I want? I want Greenland, and I'm going to have Greenland because you owe us. And I was like, oh my, I love this. Audio soundbite number 1. Let's play a couple for you. This is what the president says. He admonishes Canada, which is wow. Wow, he absolutely calls out the prime minister there. Listen to what he says to Mark Carney.
All we want from Denmark for national and international security and to keep our very energetic and dangerous potential enemies at bay is this land on which we're going to build the greatest golden dome ever built. We're building a golden dome that's going to, just by its very nature, going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your prime minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements. What we did for Israel was amazing. But that's nothing compared to what we have planned for the United States, Canada, and the rest of the world. We are going to build a dome like no other.
Like no other, and it's going to protect the entirety of our section of the hemisphere. Make no mistake, that's what I want. Hey, Mark Carney, watch what you're saying. I'm paying attention to you. And you won't like it if I'm not pleased with what you're saying. Now, is this some like big shot in the room? Hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah, it is. See, there's the thing about Trump that I love, though. He gives you an option. You're for us, you're against us. You're in or you're out. You're up or you're down. Choose a side. Now, if you choose partnering with America, you're going to win. You're going to benefit. If you build your stuff here in America, you are going to win. And I'm going to remember it. That has way more influence. Audio soundbite number 2. The president says something very interesting about elections, specifically the 2020 election, and specifically coming legal action for those who participated in one of the greatest thefts in American political history.
Thousands of miles away, separated by a giant ocean. It's a war that should have never started, and it wouldn't have started if the 2020 U.S. presidential election weren't rigged. It was a rigged election. Everybody now knows that. They found out. People will soon be prosecuted for what they did. It's probably breaking news, but it should be. It was a rigged election. Can't have rigged elections. You need strong borders, strong elections, and ideally a good press. I always say it. Strong borders, strong elections, free, fair elections, and a fair media. The media is terrible. It's very crooked. It's very biased, terrible. But someday it'll straighten out because it's losing all credibility. Think of it. When I win in a landslide, a giant landslide, won all 7 swing states, won the popular vote, won everything, and I only get negative press. That means that it has no credibility.
And correct. Now, as this is going on, we're also monitoring things happening in Washington, D.C. The big news I thought of the evening into today was word from House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer that Bill and Hillary Clinton have decided to offer him some of their time if he would fly to them for an audience. No stenographer, no officials, no note keeping, no nothing. Just a little you and us talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Say what? what? House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer revealed that he had rejected a, quote, ridiculous offer from the Clintons for an unofficial interview regarding the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Hey, Thomas Massey, Ro Khanna, you guys were so horny to push the Epstein Act. Trump signed it, said, okay, if you guys are insistent, release everything. And now all of a sudden you've got your number one offender that everybody knows about, Bill Clinton and Hillary, who was likely also there multiple times, and you're going to give them a pass? Are you crazy? Do you think the world doesn't see what is going on? Trump warned you. He said, you don't want to push this. He said, Thomas Massey, it isn't a war. You're going to win. It doesn't come out well for anybody. And now we've got this, the Clintons who think they are above a congressional subpoena. This is House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer.
Today, the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform meets to advance two resolutions recommending that the House of Representatives find former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress for refusing to comply with duly issued subpoenas. The committee does not take this action lightly, but subpoenas are not mere suggestions. They carry the force of law and require compliance. Former President Clinton and Secretary Clinton were legally required to appear for depositions before this committee. They refused. As Democrat Ranking Member Garcia stated, and I quote, defying a congressional subpoena is highly illegal, end quote. He also stated, and I quote, no one is above the law. Actions have consequences.
Look at Robert Garcia sitting next to him. Isn't that his name? Isn't that Brock? Robert? Is it Robert Garcia?
Yeah, that's Robert.
He looks so uncomfortable. We're using your own words. No one is above the law except Bill and Hillary Clinton. So Comer tweets this out. The Clintons wanted Comer to fly to New York for a conversation with them, with him only, with Bill only. No official transcript would be recorded. No other members of Congress would be there. And of course, he rejected. The absence of an official transcript is an indefensible demand that is insulting to the American people who demand answers about Epstein's crimes. You guys were all hot and heavy for it. Now it's here. So where the hell are you? Trump is in Switzerland fighting for America, and you've got the deep state serpents slithering for the exit. Do you notice the difference? Because we do. We do. Now, when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, while these big issues are going on, right? While Iranian citizens are still dying, ostensibly, to protect or to fight for their own livelihoods, their own freedom and liberty. You've got malignant protesters in Minneapolis setting their sights on what and why? Oh boy, Scott Bessent then lights up Gavin Newsom audio of the week. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. You know, Trump says things. If I've learned anything about this president, it's that I need to pay close attention to what he says, because he tells you what is coming. He tells you, he said, the media who are woefully unfair, but it's going to straighten itself out soon. What do you think that means? I don't know, but changes are happening big time. And people are either going to stay afloat or they're going to sink. And then the new media will take over. Already have.
Well,
I want to tell you guys about CB Distillery real fast because I got a testimonial. Look, everything in the store now at cbdistillery.com is 25% off. They have salves and oils for, let's say, even I would do it for arthritis, for pain in my hands or pain after exercise if I'm doing stuff. Fantastic pain relief. Excellent help with restful, meaningful, productive sleep. That's a game changer. And also, there are CBD formulas at cbdistillery.com specifically to help you tackle stress and anxiety. Don't be on a prescription that weirds you out, that makes you feel dependent. When you can be on something from nature, no fillers, no extras, no garbage, just pure CBD delivered where you need it. Here's a testimonial. Hey, Wendy, I always appreciate your sponsor, CB Distillery, more than I could have ever imagined. I've always been a light sleeper who wakes up several times a night, about every 2 hours. I don't get deep, restful sleep. And regardless, I rarely wake up later than 6:30 and start my day, but I've been dragging and I started taking some CBD products. Well, I was going to buy more, but it was so expensive at this local place. I decided to check out CB Distillery and I tried their products. At 54, I've done this. I bought a month's supply of gummies and now I'm on a subscription with cbdistillery.com. I know what it's like to sleep. Truly, it's everything you've said. I wake up to use the bathroom. I fall back to sleep. It's a deep sleep. I typically wake up one more time, but then fall back to sleep. And when I wake up rested. Thank you so much. Matt and Dawn, thank you for that testimonial. That was from Dawn. Appreciate it. cbdistillery.com. You use my name, Wendy. Get that 25% off. It's a great coupon. And remember, this is like 2 million of customers, and it's guaranteed. You're going to love them. cbdistillery.com. We've had them for years, and I'm always delighted when I see their name on our Rumble sponsor list because they're quality. And you can depend on what you buy from them.
Two things could screw the media.
Mm-hmm.
The Smith-Mundt Act, get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. True.
And if they take away pharmaceutical sales
your
sponsorships,
your high dollar anchor,
you got to tell
salaries,
the truth and no money.
100%. Let's go back to the old-fashioned way, right?
What? Telling the truth.
Telling the and you got a lot of things going on in your life, and then something happens. Maybe you get bad news, maybe you get tragic news, maybe something stops you in your tracks and everything else just disappears because you've got something so much bigger to pay attention to. Can you guys tell me why on God's green earth protesters in Minneapolis, this rabid, starvingly ridiculous, angry mob of people who are pissed that law enforcement is taking dangerous criminals, pedophiles, rapists, murderers off the streets, right? They're angry that that's going on. They have set their sights on, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot make it up, Target. Anti-ICE protesters in Minnesota are targeting Target stores. Don't you dare let those ICE people come in here and shop. Did you guys see any of the video of the protesters stopping people at intersections in their vehicles and running up, surrounding their vehicles, banging on the windows because they think the people inside are conservative? We've crossed into another dimension of complete derangement and insanity. So this group targets, they're targeting Target. They demand that Target stores stop letting the federal immigration agents in its parking lots and using its bathrooms. People protesting ICE occupied a Target store Monday. They all sat down, created a sit-in. This is what you're doing. Or they're going to the store and they're buying what? What is it? Ice or salt? They're buying salt?
Salt.
They're buying bags of like rock salt only to go back and then return it, gumming up the system, clogging down the lines, right? This is what their idea of progress or getting a point across is. See, the point they're trying to make doesn't make any sense because we should all agree getting rid of people who shouldn't be here, who are a danger to us, should be a priority, and priority number one to President Trump. It is to ICE. It is to the left who've been ginned up and either are being compensated for acting like complete schmucks, or they're just part of this brainwashed tribe that thinks whatever Donald Trump does is worthy of resistance. This is where we are. And I draw the analogy. Meanwhile, you've got people in Iran, and some of the estimates I've seen could be upwards of 15,000, 18,000 protesters who've been murdered, who've been killed for being just desperate for a chance to breathe, for a chance to live in a free world, getting killed. And these snots are sitting down outside the inside Starbucks at a Target store saying, don't let them use your bathrooms. What a terrible, awful look. Meantime, over in Davos, there is a beautiful thing that happened on the way to listen to Donald Trump this morning. And his name is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. And he's asked a question. Somebody in the audience is asking him a question about California Governor Gavin Newsom. Now, I was not prepared for this, but you've been following along all of these reports that the Somalian fraud, the grift, the graft that's been going on and exposed by Nick Shirley and others in Minnesota. That might be a small little smidgen of what's been going on in California. Scott Bessent's all over it. You've got Commerce Secretary all over. I want you to hear what Scott Bessent had to say about Gavin Newsom, which might just be the most blistering and soberly delivered takedown I've heard this week.
I think it's very, very ironic that, Governor Newsom, who strikes me as Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken, may be the only Californian who knows less about economics than Kamala Harris. He's here this week with his billionaire sugar daddy, Alex Soros, and Davos is a perfect place for a man who, when everyone else was on lockdown, when he was having people arrested for going to church, he was having $1,000 a night meals at the French Laundry, and I'm sure the California people won't forget that. And I can tell my message to Governor Newsom is the Trump administration is coming to California. We are going to crack down on waste, fraud, and abuse. And I was told he was asked to give a speech on his signature policies, but he's not speaking because what have his economic policies brought? Outward migration from California, a gigantic budget deficit, the largest homeless population in America, and the poor folks in the Palisades who had their homes burned down. He is here hobnobbing with the global elite while his California citizens are still homeless. Shame on him. He is too smug, too self-absorbed, and too economically illiterate to know anything.
Thank you very much.
Let me know if you need any further clarification.
Oh my gosh, and it's totally not what you expect. He's not known for that. That's not usually his role. They know everything. I mean, honestly, I feel like you and I are sitting down to this enormous table. And there's all these beautiful meals, all these dishes planned out for us. It's all set up and you're just given a plate and a fork and it's like, go. Just go. They're going to deliver, I believe. Thank God. They're going to deliver indictments. They're going to deliver charges. Ilhan Omar and her $30 million of net worth now is under investigation by the DOJ. I'm feeling as though this election from 2020 as well, the president brought it up at Davos, Switzerland, in front of the world as everybody was hanging on every breath. Damn right, the Clintons want to be able to testify, not under oath and privately. They have a little bit of an inkling of the hellfire that's coming, fingers crossed. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about this. Team Trump pushes America first. Howard Lutnick drops the microphone. He's like, hey, globalists, your plans suck. We're not doing that in America anymore. Peace out. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Scott Bessent is like he so was not... I'm going to say he and Marco Rubio are the greatest gifts right now. I want to tell you guys about the healthy fat. I want to tell you about the healthy fat because I believe in what Dr. Gundry does. I drink it now. I drink it twice a day. And I believe, so I've got about, legitimately, I probably only have 5 or 6 pounds I'd like to lose. Some people have 50 or 60 pounds, right? It doesn't matter if it's a lot or if it's a little, but if it's a lot, I'm going to tell you this product is really something you should put in your arsenal. It's super easy. You take a scoop of it. It's called MCT Wellness. You put a scoop of it in water, shake it up and enjoy it as you would a normal glass of water. And it's going to completely stop your cravings and your appetite. It's going to maintain, all that you need to jumpstart your body to start losing weight. That is what it is, as it keeps you from shoveling more food in your mouth. And I need that because at about 3:00 in the afternoon, I get some crazy cravings for carbs, sweets, and beer. And not necessarily in that order. And I'm going to tell you, this stuff is fantastic. Thehealthyfat.com. This is how Dr. Gundry, I say it every day, lost 70 pounds. This is what I'm doing to get off the final 5 or 6 pounds I have. It helps. It works. It's delicious. Try it. It's affordable. And there's a great discount right now when you go to thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Again, it created by a cardiothoracic pediatric heart transplant surgeon.
So a dumb guy.
I'm going to go with he probably knows what he's doing, right? All right. How are you guys? What's going on out there? We got a slow start on this hump day. We've got 5,000 watching, but I'm delighted you're here. What we've noticed is we're getting more live viewers, but also more viewers after the show is over, which is great. So it's growing. I don't know how we are on pace. What are we at, 82,000 yet?
Yeah.
We're at 82,000 followers. We're trying to get to 100,000. So if you have a moment and you haven't clicked that follow button underneath the video box below the scrolling bar there you go. As I'm reading that too, it's really, so Texas Bullion Exchange, and Brock and I were going back and forth on how precious metals were valued right now. And they've really just exploded over the last 6 months or so. And you don't have to buy anything to request a free wealth preservation guide. Like how can you, when you get in touch with Texas Bullion Exchange, wendylovesgold.com or 855-927-5557. They have this free gold wealth kit, and they've got some exclusive discounts for the Wendy Bell radio program inside. So you don't even have to spend anything, though, to be like, you know what, I'd like to learn more about what you do. Can you at least open up the door to the conversation and send me some information? 100%. 100%. And then they'll follow up with you and say, hey, if you're ready or you're not, here's my phone number. Give me a call. I'm happy to walk you through it and either put some serious precious metals in your hands or to get them into your retirement portfolio. 855-927-5557. And remember, they guarantee you whatever you buy from them, if you need to sell it back for whatever reason, whenever that is, you will never get back less than what you bought. You'll never get it lower than what you spent for it, which I think it's a pretty bold promise, but that's one that my friends at Wendy Loves Gold make. wendylovesgold.com, 855-927-5557. They're wonderful.
And to buy silver, it's down $2.
Oh, so we're down to 93?
92.
92. Ah, scandal.
92.79.
Hey, Leo's mom just bailed. Really? I don't want excuses. I want results. You're not allowed to go anywhere. You're not allowed to leave. There's Glow saying, have a blessed day. You're so much nicer than I am, Glow. So much nicer. What's going on?
Hi, tell us what to do.
Hi, JL Hamilton. What's going on, Cindy MG? Hi, Darlene. Hi, Rosebud. Pod. What's going on, Pod Racer? Fishmaster. Saugustine. Hello. Good morning, Black Dog, Mr. Hello, Razorback. It's good to be with you guys. Well, it's interesting because we got Tim Walz, Jacob Fry, Keith Ellison getting served subpoenas to appear before a federal grand jury in Minneapolis. That's right around the corner. And they've got an awful lot of stuff I printed out from the affidavit or from the subpoena that shows them what they need to bring. They got a lot they got to bring. I don't know how you do that. How do you bring all of your email correspondence over the course of a period of time? How do you do that?
Well, they're not allowed to delete them. I'm sure there's a server out there that.
Do we believe that they're not allowed to delete them?
I believe they're not allowed to delete them. I believe they delete them.
Like Benny Thompson?
Fauci. Yeah.
What? I was supposed to save those? Oh, the videos? What? What a moron. What a moron. I don't know. It's very interesting to see what's going on at Davos. And since our time here has changed a little bit, it's very beneficial because obviously the time difference benefits us. And Trump even put out a truth admonishing Macron and Starmer and von der Leyen. You've had your chance. Oh, maybe I'll read this.
You failed.
You failed. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, I like that when all of the other countries go to Davos for the World Economic Forum in Switzerland every year. I mean, there's a lot of personal jets, private jets, hobnobbing, lobster crostini with Dom Perrier, Jouet champagne, all the creme de la creme, while we plebes are out here getting taxed out the wazoo, particularly if you have a fun socialist leader in your community, which we do here in Pittsburgh. We're going to talk about that coming up in just a bit. Things are getting a little crazy out there with the Democrats. We've got some great projections of how America will look if we lose control of the House, if God forbid we lose control of 1600 Pennsylvania in 2028. All right, so let's talk about this. Trump putting this out. Macron, Starmer, von der Leyen, you've had your chance, and frankly, you've blown it big time. Oh my gosh. While Europe drowns in bureaucracy, weak borders, and endless meetings that solve nothing, this is his truth before he hits the stage at Davos. He says Greenland is sitting there, enormous potential, incredible strategic value, totally underused, sad. Under U.S. leadership, Greenland would be great again. Tremendous security, real investment, jobs, infrastructure, strength, not lectures, not paperwork. We build, we win, we protect. America doesn't talk. America delivers. And when the U.S. leads, the Arctic is strong, safe, and prosperous. When Europe leads, chaos, delay, and decline. Greenland deserves strength. Greenland deserves growth. Greenland deserves America. The future is bold leadership, and everyone knows who does that best. And then he puts out, it's a snowflake and an American flag. Let it be known, that is why Trump went to Davos. He doesn't need to tell all of the globalists there, your globalist agenda sucks. Your global compact on migration sucks. Look what it's done to Europe. Look what it's almost ruined America. We're not doing that anymore. Yeah, that's not why he was there. We're going to get Greenland, and you're going to be happy to give it to us. That is the way it's going to be. And thank you for your attention to this matter. Who says no to that? What are they doing instead? What's happening with it? Right? Right. Now, this is great. And I love Howard Lutnick. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick started things off in Davos yesterday. And he drops this blistering truth out of the gates as the first representative of the United States, I believe, to make a statement and to be interviewed. He's like, look, what you guys all are doing here is not what makes America great again. We're focused on America first, and you can come along for the ride if you want, but we're not doing your globalist, imperialist garbage anymore. It ends. It's over. Howard Lutnick.
Okay. We are in Davos at the World Economic Forum. And the Trump administration and myself, we are here to make a very clear point. Globalization has failed the West and the United States of America. It's a failed policy. It is what the WEF has stood for, which is export, offshore, far shore, find the cheapest labor in the world, and the world is a better place for it. The fact is, it has left America behind. It has left the American workers behind. And what we are here to say is that America First is a different model, one that we encourage other countries to consider, which is that our workers come first. We can have policies that impact our workers. Sovereignty is your borders. You're entitled to have borders. You shouldn't offshore your medicine. You shouldn't offshore your semiconductors. You shouldn't offshore your entire industrial base and have it be hollowed out beneath you. You should not be dependent for that which is fundamental to your sovereignty on any other nation. And if you're going to be dependent on someone, it darn well better be your best allies. Okay? And so that is a different way of thinking. It is completely different than the WEF. I viewed the WEF as not a flagpole in the middle, but in fact, they are the flag. Whichever way the wind blew, so it blew. You should have solar, you should have wind. Why are you going to do solar and wind? Why would Europe agree to be net zero in 2030 when they don't make a battery? They don't make a battery. So if they go 2030, they are deciding to be subservient to China, who makes the batteries.
Yeah, and we're not doing that anymore. We are America first. We are honesty, hard work, dedication, and the brand made in the USA first. Now, you can be a part of it or you cannot. We're going to encourage the world to try what we do, but that's on you. We're not going to force anything on anybody, but we believe our strategy works. Here's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. He says Trump's moves on Greenland, they're nothing new. This is what presidents have been doing for more than 100 years. It's just that this president is doing it, which is why everybody has their unis in a bunch.
This has been in the minds of American presidents for more than 150 years. For more than 150 years.
So the vulnerability was seen even back then?
Well, or the strategic value of Greenland. And I think as there are more trade routes that move near Greenland, Greenland becomes more and more valuable.
Period. That's exactly what it is. Let's not say that this is some oligarchy overreaching, no kings. This is Trump trying to do something that he's not. He's trying to protect our hemisphere, build a golden dome, missile defense shield that everybody benefits from. So how about we all just get on board and let it happen? Well, Damon Imani is a social media influencer. A lot of you are familiar with him. And he does that. He goes back, just like Scott Bessent says, and he goes back into the 1800s. I think he's going to pick things up in the 1911. He's going to pick it up. Historically accurate, giving you presidents of the past, United States presidents, who have made overtures to absorb Greenland, but didn't follow through for whatever reason.
In 1946, United States under President Truman had its most significant attempt to purchase Greenland. Denmark rejected the offer, and U.S. instead secured an ongoing military access via agreements. In 1955, United States under President Eisenhower tried to purchase Greenland, but essentially no formal offer was made. The United States purchasing Greenland is only outrageous and never heard of because now Trump is the one trying to make the deal.
100%. 100%. And so this anti-Trump everything, this illogical, unhinged, weird reaction to everything he says and does. It's reflexive. Now, meantime, in D.C., before he left for Switzerland, President Trump said this. It was his year anniversary of his first second term, first year of his second term. And yesterday, he walked into the White House press briefing room. He did 2 full hours, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Biden couldn't stand for 2 hours, let alone speak cogently and answer questions from the media. Donald Trump did, and he dropped this nugget, letting all of us know he's keenly aware of all of this jazz going on with the Somalian fraud.
Nobody talks about the fact that $19 billion at a minimum is missing in Minnesota, given to a large degree by Somalians. They've taken it. Somalians, can you imagine? And they don't do it. A lot of very low IQ people, they don't do it. Other people work it out, and they get them money, and they go out and buy Mercedes-Benzes and They come from here. They have no money. They never had money. They never had a life. They never had a government. They never had a country, because there's basically no country. Somalia is not even a country. They don't have anything that resembles a country. And if it is a country, it's considered just about the worst in the world. They come here and they become rich and they don't have a job. I was told that Ilhan Omar is worth $30 million. She never had a job. She's a crooked congressman.
He's telling the media, you will not cover this and you will not cover it fairly. So I'm going to do 2 hours and I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on. And then what happened? Oh, breaking news. Ilhan Omar's net worth of $30 million is now under investigation. Damn right. CNN news babes, however, they're just absolutely speechless. They don't know what to say after Trump's 2-hour performance. All they can say is that he seemed low energy. Are you out of your mind? Yes, that's what liberal, triggered, white, college-educated, toxic chicks are all about. Listen.
All right, that was a very long press conference that President Trump just held 1 year into his second term in the White House. Almost 2 hours, I think it was, almost 2 hours. And he kept coming back to the topic of immigration, but he was covering a lot of different things in his characteristic weave, although this was sort of a moment that I think stood out. He ended a little bit more energetically, but certainly the beginning where he was not taking questions, not so much.
No, it was, and we noticed it right away. It was very low energy in the beginning, sort of reading, sort of doing a weave, but it almost seemed at some points he was going back to things that he had already addressed, reading them off of the book that he brought out with him. Not clear if he didn't remember that he had talked about them already or if he wanted to go back to them. There is also, over the last nearly 2 hours, as you point out, there's a lot that we need to fact check here because there was a lot of what the president said that was not true. Daniel Dale is joining us for some of that. Daniel, as you've noted for us over the last couple of hours, some of these.
It's ridiculous. They can't help themselves. Very low energy. He's coming out and talking to a media that have given him 93% negative coverage regarding the ICE operations in Minneapolis, whose objective is to get rapists, child traffickers, murderers, etc. off of the street. You guys, you think he's going to come out to the media and be all excited to address you? You guys lie for a living, which, by the way, it shocks me to say this, and I'm sure it hurts CNN, but let's do it anyway. This is why your ratings are so horrible, CNN. Have you seen what happened? Because we have. In 2016, CNN had an average daily total viewership of 1.3 million. Do you know what it is today? It is now below average. It's 500,000. 500,000, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think that's because they're fair and balanced? Of course not. The president knows that. He knows he's got to speak directly to the American people because the media will never treat him fairly and they will never tell you the truth. So when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk a little bit more about this particular moment. NBC News literally cuts away from the president as he's speaking to America. They can't handle it anymore. Are you kidding me? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. So wait a minute. I might even be wrong. Let's see here.
I thought you were.
What?
I thought their viewership was lower.
It is lower. It seems so. It says now it was estimated 573. It says about 573,000 2025. Let's see if that's average total viewers for the year, I guess. Average total viewers. So,
well, it might be inflated because it was an election his first year, depending on when they do it from.
Could be. I'm telling you what, though, there's a reason Bari Weiss was brought in over at CBS. She's going to be the hatchet man. And all of a sudden, these super high dollar anchor salaries are going to evaporate. There's no more money. And to Brock's point, If you get rid of pharma advertising, which is a must, got to get pharma out of our media, right? Got to get the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation out of sponsoring media, because you know what they're doing. They're paying for good coverage, right? Then all of a sudden there's no money for these high dollar people. You're not qualified to do anything other than this. So, and there's certainly not a job at this pay grade. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And Trump hinted at it. It's not going to be sustainable. They're going to have to straighten it out. It's going to get straightened out, he said. What does that mean? All right, let me tell you guys about Take Lean. TakeLean.com. This is from Brickhouse Nutrition. We have some different dietary supplements. The MCT Wellness is a powder. This is from Brickhouse Nutrition, and this is their offering for vast, substantial, predictable, slower weight loss, which is great. So you don't want to, if you don't want to lose 10 pounds by, next Tuesday, you want something that's a little bit more reasonable and slow. This is where Take Lean comes in. And I think you're going to really appreciate it. These are ingredients it's all studied by physicians. The formula is about doctors creating something that mimic the effects of those injections without the long-term questionable side effects. And that's what it is. So when you lose 10 pounds and put on 15, then you lose the 15 and you put on 20, it's called weight cycling, and it takes a toll on your body. It's not good for you. And that's why the doctors behind Lean created this formula. It helps maintain healthy blood sugar, helps control your cravings, and it converts fat into energy, which is, I'm all about that. I want my fat to work for me, right? TakeLean.com, 20% off right now with my name as the promo code at checkout. TakeLean.com, TakeLean.com. It's the perfect addition to your diet and exercise lifestyle. 20% off. I like it. So let's see. You guys are real close to 2. Oh, you passed 2. Thank you. That's wonderful. Very exciting. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take every single moment with you guys. So what else is going on, Brock, as you monitor? Have you noticed that with our time difference that there's more to follow later on in the day?
Yeah, I mean, I have Twitter up constantly.
It's actually super beneficial because he can send me stuff during commercial breaks and let me know about it. Apparently, Nick Shirley is testifying right now, speaking on behalf of all the hardworking, law-abiding taxpayer citizens inside the United States. We, the people, have had enough of our hard-earned money going towards fraudsters as if it's no big deal. This is his opening statement. I guess he is testifying before Congress.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, stuff is getting real, guys. I don't know.
I'll just say this, and this is the boo-hoo of me. I want to see results.
I know.
Enough hearings.
I think you're not alone. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Common sense conservatism that even liberals can agree with. That should be my new cut line, don't you think? Isn't that a great line? Even liberals can agree. Well, here's what I would agree with. There is no way in God's green earth that Joe Biden would be able to do 2 hours without basic notes, without a complete choreographed, pre-selected journalist cheat sheet, right? There is no way that Joe Biden could have handled the media. He only held 4, if I'm not mistaken, cabinet meetings. And Jill did the last one with Hunter right there, which was super duper, I'm sure. And these news babes over at CNN want to criticize President Trump for speaking for 2 hours and being low energy. The guy runs 20 hours a day. He flies all around the world. And I think, if I'm being honest, I think it sounds like he's getting sick. Sounds like he's got some kind of a congestion, some nasal issue. So he's not going to exert his voice and scream at people. CNN news babes can only say that he just seemed low energy. And he seemed like he needed to refer to a sheet because he couldn't remember what he had talked about. I don't remember the media scrutinizing a damn thing about Joe Biden. They didn't scrutinize that he walked like a zombie. They didn't scrutinize that he walked and talked to the air, shook hands with the air, told people not to jump, that he needed blue X's on the ground to tell him where to to stand that the Easter Bunny had to come save him and that he walked into the freaking hedges after getting off Marine One at the White House. Please. Donald Trump takes 2 hours of questions. And the babes at CNN squawk. I want you to hear this NBC News guy. All right, this is anchor Tom Lamas. He's cutting away while the president is talking. I don't know about you guys, but I'm interested in what the leader of the free world has to say instead of Mr. Quaff Lamas. Listen to the interruption. And then the reporter standing awkwardly outside the White House talking about what the president is saying inside of it, which is kind of weird. Here you go.
The news conference started, and if you've been following along, he's been holding photos of people he says are undocumented immigrants, in his words, illegal aliens who have committed crimes in Minnesota. I want to bring in our senior White House correspondent, Gabe Gutierrez. Gabe, we don't know really anything about these people. We've seen some of their images, but we don't have their names yet. We hope at some point the White House will tell us who he's talking about. But this was new to everyone that was covering this news conference today.
Well, Tom, look, this is the White House trying to make a case for the first year of this administration. This is something that they have said repeatedly over and over again that they used to justify their crackdown on illegal immigration. You see the president right there in those live pictures in the briefing room, just a few feet from where I'm standing, referring to these undocumented immigrants who he says have criminal histories. Certainly, the president from his supporters has gotten a lot of credit over his first year for reducing illegal border crossings at the southern border to the lowest in recent memory, a dramatic drop from the Biden administration. We should point out, though, according to recent ICE data, as NBC News reported back in December, those who were arrested during ICE's crackdowns, more than a third of them have no criminal history. So although the administration will come back and say that every undocumented immigrant who is in this country illegally, they view as being a criminal. So certainly the president there trying to make the case for his crackdown on illegal immigration.
So if you say that 1/3 of the people arrested have no criminal record, is that is some reason to stop? How about the other 2/3 who do? Gabe, how about that? You know, I'm willing to roll the dice on getting swept up in something to later prove my innocence and be released for the sake of 5 other people getting arrested who shouldn't be in my neighborhood. Among them, Brian Onjane, a native of the Marshall Islands, who DHS says racked up 24 criminal convictions. All right. This is one of the people plucked from the streets in these ICE raids that these malignant protesters are all against, because that makes sense. This guy on Jane's record, all right, includes assault causing bodily injury, domestic abuse. Oh, good. So he beats up his wife or his kids. Sounds like a great guy. He's also been arrested and charged with public nudity, theft, interference with official acts, public intoxication, and trespassing. And that doesn't talk about some other high-profile arrests. How about this guy, Hain Quoc Thai? He's a Vietnamese national who was previously convicted of murder. Or the capture of Eddie Zolares, a Venezuelan national convicted of conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute 5 kilograms or more of cocaine. Goes on, arrests from people of Guatemala, Cuba, Mexico, Honduras, South Africa, and Romania, reflecting the international scope of the operation that ICE is behind. And we've got this guy, Tom Lamas, over at NBC News, who's pissed that Trump is holding up pictures of illegal aliens who are criminals, saying, well, we can't fact check them in real time. How dare you? Do you believe that Trump would stand up there? When was the last time ever that Donald Trump stood up and demonstrably lied to the American people? What? That he was going to have Mexico build a wall, right? Is that it? Is that where we are? When we come back, hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program, as Trump is making his case for all things pro-America in Davos, they have been served. Walls, Fry, Ellison, please appear before our grand jury. Let's talk about that next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's so silly. You're dealing with child's play and like global war, right? We're going to go Target. We're going to go to Target. Don't let ICE people poop in your potties, right? And then there's Trump. He's like, look, you want to play? We'll play, but we're taking it. We're taking it because we're building this thing. We're protecting our hemisphere. And if you don't like it, I don't care. Then don't do business with America. That's fine. I'll remember you. We'll never do business again. I don't have to penalize you. I just don't have to ever do business with you. And you need America. Suck it.
Did you see what I sent you?
Anna Paulina Luna, I saw that you sent something, but I didn't see what.
And Jeffries just said ISIS stormed churches and hospitals.
Right. Everyone is frustrated because they want to see the Epstein files, and I do too, but here are the facts. As of today, the DOJ has completed a review of over 5 million documents conducted by over 500 attorneys, and they're ready to be released now. However, Obama-appointed Judge Paul Engelmeyer has ordered a second review of those documents and is now requiring certification of them by U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton while simultaneously blocking the appointment of a special counsel. This is causing major delays. What are we waiting for? Why are we delaying all this as Bill Clinton is desperate to meet with James Comer? Shh, behind closed doors. And the douche asks him to fly to him. Now, how about you get your old decrepit butt on a plane? Your Clinton Global Initiative, aka the global crime family spree, right? I'm sure you've got plenty of dough to fly and see Comer yourself. He doesn't have to come to you. And how dare you submit anybody would travel to see you? You hack. You freaking scumbag. Oh. Anywho, who do I want to tell you about now? Let me tell you guys about, blood flow. Blood flow 7.
I just took my Alpha Gold.
Alpha Gold male blood flow 7. I started noticing it probably about age 50. I think it was kind of hardcore when I was walking into menopause, and I kind of chalked it up to that. I'm like, well, my body's going through all sorts of stuff. It doesn't know what the heck is going on anymore. You know, I'm probably just tired from hormones. But then I would see a precipitous drop off in my stamina exercising. And there were some times when I told my trainer, Mary Beth, I'm like, look, I can't do another one. I don't have it. And it's so defeating. And I literally, with tears in my eyes, would apologize to her and I would leave. I'd struggle through the rest of the workout, but then I would go home and feel terrible. And so when I learned about blood flow 7, I was like, all right, what is this supposed to do? Well, it's got nitric oxide, which allow for more blood to circulate through your body. Blood vessels and everything open up. You've got a lot more blood moving around and you're like, why does that matter? Oh, it matters. It matters with everything. It matters with your focus. It matters with your muscles. It matters with everything that you do. It matters with your sleep. So I started taking it. And then what I started to see was this upward projection of my stamina, my strength, my ability to lift more weight, to do more reps, to go a further distance, and then to fall asleep at night and sleep like a boulder. Then you introduce this Peak NAD Plus. This is for your cellular recovery at the end of it, all right? You pair these together and you power through, recover faster. This is a 1-2 punch. It's layering. This is what I'm doing now. So this is what I'm taking. And I'm going to report back to you guys and tell you what it is. I was doing some research on what is NAD plus. Well, it's actually a coenzyme and it's found in all of our cells, and it's super great for inflammation control, DNA repair, and metabolizing energy. But these things fall apart, kind of like that your NAD plus levels dwindle over time, and so you don't recover from exercise and other things as quickly. Well, now you do. Very interesting. It says Advanced Performance Optimizer. I'm all about that. Is it true? Is it possible I could be even better? I don't know. At 55? Should I feel that good? Well, Blood Flow 7 with this, I do. So go to bloodflow7.com/Wendy if you want to join me. It's like $30, right? For a month. It's like $1 a day. It's great. Try it for a month and then incorporate this. Okay. And recover from whatever your exercise is. I love it. I love this company, Juvenon. And Brock was saying he takes the Juvenon Ultra Gold.
Alpha Gold.
Alpha Gold male. And it's things specific for testosterone and for men only. It's the equivalent of mine, just for men.
Last bottle.
You're down it? I've got another one for you. Are you serious? You need me to bring you one?
No, I have some left, but
What,
soon.
another week?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay. So Blood Flow $7. I'm super geeked out about Juvenon. That's the name of the company. Everything they've given me so far, I've been like, I can see demonstrable effects. That's crazy. So lucky, though.
Do you see what Trump just said?
No. What?
If the U.S. could cut out 50% of fraud in America, we'd have a balanced budget. If you cut half the fraud, just half, that's how much fraud.
That's kind of nuts.
I hate everyone.
It's easy to hate everyone. Let's see how you guys are doing. 2.27. Great job. Thank you so much. Almost 6,000 people watching live. The numbers.
Someone threw money at you.
Oh, $50. What? Let's see. This is Rush 143. We so appreciate Wendy and Brock. Now, does that mean, Rush, I love you? I'm just going to ask. Rush 143, tell me. I must know the truth. My dad used to sign letters to me, 143. I love you. Very sweet. Let's see.
No one ever signs a letter like that for me.
Pissed Off says, I love you. I love you back. Thank you. I want to see the gold. Don't you want to see the gold? I want to see where the gold is.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with health care and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live and on the clock. Also going on as we are live with you is a House Judiciary Committee hearing on crime and federal government surveillance. And it's a hearing centered around various Minnesota fraud scandals. Obviously, it's featuring Nick Shirley. I believe he's testifying right now. He is the independent citizen journalist who actually helped uncover this organized fraud network in the state. Look, we're going to be following what he says, but it's interesting because wheels are moving. And that's good because we haven't seen much of that, all right? So FBI issues subpoenas to Tim Walz, Jacob Fry, and Keith Ellison, the governor of Minnesota, the mayor of Minneapolis, and the state's attorney general. Yeah, we need you guys to come testify before a grand jury, and I'm sure you don't want to pull what Bill and Hill did because that won't end well for you. This is what it says. All right, this is an article from Western Journal. Department of Justice reportedly issuing grand jury subpoenas to some of Minnesota's top Democratic lawmakers. Sources say the Justice Department served, in fact, 5 state government offices as part of a federal probe into conspiracy, coercion, and obstruction of federal law enforcement during immigrations and customs enforcement operations in Minnesota. Sources added that the FBI, The enforcement arm of the DOJ serves subpoenas for very specific records and communications. Todd Blanche, Deputy AG, said the liberal lawmakers' anti-ICE stance and public statements against federal officials are borderline criminal. So I looked at, and the basic is, you can't go out there as a representative of your state, as the top law enforcement official, as the mayor or the governor or the attorney general, and you can't incite people to counteract law enforcement. You can't. And that is exactly what these officials have been doing. And so is it enough to break the law? Is it enough to be actionable? Well, that's exactly what they want to know. When the governor or the mayor threatens our officers, when the mayor suggests that he is encouraging citizens to call 911 when they see ICE officers, it's very close to a federal crime. That's Todd Blanche saying that. Walz, of course, attempting to flip the script with the subpoena, saying the Trump administration is weaponizing the justice system. Isn't it curious how it goes like that? Don Lemon is being targeted because he's gay and he's black. No, you're not being targeted. You're being called out because you did something stupid and you exercised bad judgment. Tim Walz wants to cry on the liberal cross and say, you know what? It's just mean. People are mean in this administration. They don't like dark-skinned people. They're racist. They don't like us. They want to ruin what we're doing. Yeah, we want to bust it open. Hells yeah, we do. Fox 9 in Minneapolis, I should say, going a little bit deeper in this story. And we'll see what they say. Walz's office, 5 other Minnesota government offices serve subpoenas in ICE obstruction investigation. Now, this is what they want. So I printed it out from the subpoenas. All right. It's very specific. From January 1. Brock, would you please find out what date Renee Good decided to gun her car at a federal agent named Jonathan Ross and almost took him out before she was killed? I want to know what that date was, because these records we want, that this is what the DOJ is going for, date back all of these to January 1st. All things relating to federal immigration enforcement in the state of Minnesota. This is what Walz, Ellison, and what's-his-face, Jacob Fry, have been asked to provide.
January 7th.
January 7th. Okay, so a week before Renee Good was shot and killed, right? A week before this whole thing blew up in Minneapolis. The DOJ wants records. We want to know all of your records, all of your emails, all of the communications, policies, manuals, procedures, directives, commands, instructions, guidance, all of it related to federal immigration enforcement in Minnesota. All of it relating to cooperation or to the lack of cooperation with federal immigration authorities. All of this stuff from the mayor's office in its response to requests for assistance from ICE. ICE came to, Jacob Fry, and they're like, hey, we need this, this, and this. What did you and did you not do? And then what have you said to your staffers, et cetera, on resisting ICE? All of that's going to come up for a head, I guess, February 3rd. They've been put on notice. Trump is not happy. Let it be known. He is not happy with that church invasion in St. Paul, where Don Lemon decided to live stream on YouTube the invasion of that service. He blasted Don Loser Lemon for storming the Minnesota church with protesters. And he's speaking to reporters in the White House press briefing room Tuesday. He basically said it. He's like, look, condemned the Sunday incident that took place at City's Church in St. Paul, in which Lemon live streamed the whole thing. Well, let's listen to what the president said. He said, look, other radical progressives going after ICE agents for working tirelessly to make America safe again. These people who are working for ICE, these are patriots. And these protesters, ginned up by people like Loser Don Lemon, this is what they're fighting against. Listen.
They're patriots, and they have to be abused by guys like Don Lemon, who's a loser, lightweight. I saw him the way he walked in that church. It was terrible. I have such respect for that pastor. He was so calm. He was so nice. He was just accosted. What they did in that church was horrible yesterday.
And he's keenly aware of it. You think this president is too focused on Greenland? He's too worried about a missile defense system. He's too worried about the Venezuelan gun or drug runners. He's too worried about what's going on elsewhere now. This dude sees it all. He sees it all. Now, this is a really interesting message I want you to hear. There's a gentleman, looks like a podcaster, and he's like, look, I've got a buddy, very far left buddy, who got a job, and he got a job with ICE. And this buddy has had a major transformation because he's been street level amidst this craziness in places like Minneapolis, and he sees firsthand the side that he used to be on, what they're all about. This is what is happening. Listen.
A friend of mine just got hired by ICE, and he told me that the paycheck was $120,000 a year. Monetarily, income-wise, best job he's ever had. And after a few days on the job, he was like, I just don't understand Americans. And he was a Democrat. He was a liberal. He's the one I used to trade barbs with back and forth about libs and conservatives and Trump and Kamala. And now he's radicalized all the way to the right because of you people in the streets, making his job hard. His wife, his couple of kids. And he just feels like every time I go out there, I hate these people. He hates these liberals in the streets. And then you guys are going, shame, shame. You're shaming and doxing ICE agents who have families just like you do, who have loved ones, friends, parents, and they're just trying to make a living. Just trying to make a living. They are the messengers. They're just doing their job. ICE agents don't make the laws, guys. They just follow them. Protesting ICE workers is like yelling at cashiers because you don't like the store prices. They are the wrong target. If people are mad about immigration rules, they should be protesting the politicians in DC. They're the ones who wrote the laws, not the people hired to enforce them. They're out here trying to keep your community safe, trying to remove dangerous people from the street. A big part of what ICE does is finding and removing people who've committed serious crimes, like human trafficking or gang activity. They are here to stop the bad guys.
You know, and I know we've forgotten her name conveniently, but 23-year-old Irina Zarutska was savagely murdered on a train because a guy with clear mental illness and a rap sheet longer than my arm had bounced in and out of sanctuary city services, into the police, out on the street, back in and out. He had even called 911 on himself because he was hearing voices and he needed help. And on that train, on that day, with 3 moves of his hand, he killed a 23-year-old Ukrainian woman who simply was hoping for a better life in America. See, they don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about mean old masked ICE agents. Those agents who want to prevent that from happening to you and someone you love. This gentleman sees it. And maybe it took his liberal friend getting a job with ICE to see the reality on the streets. But this is not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. The left needs you to suspend belief in reality and believe the farcical nonsense of the fantasy land that they're trying to live in, which is unlivable. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, removing dangerous people like DeCarlos Brown Jr., who killed, reportedly, we all watched it, Irina, is Trump's focus. He talked about that as he was low energy yesterday on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Like of all the things the president said yesterday in this 2-hour press briefing, marking his first complete year of his second term, those news babes, the only thing they could take away was that, well, we're going to have to fact check him. And he was very low energy. Really? Really? That's where we are. Okay. Let me tell you guys about Healthy Cell. Healthy Cell is a way you can stay healthy down to the cellular level. It's a very innovative way to get supplementation into your body. And these things that I use and I take, I use all of them. I've reached my limit. There are no more for me to take. I can only do so much. But if I drink my MCT Wellness, that kills my appetite, absolutely kills it. If I take Healthy Cell, I get needed nutrients, supplements and other things, vitamins and minerals, things in the world that I need in my body that, by the way, my blood work shows me I'm deficient in. So I know this, I can take these things instead, and they're delivered in a delicious little pouch that has been proven to be more absorbed, the microgel contents, your belly digests and synthesizes and processes 165% more than a pill. Sometimes the acid in your stomach doesn't really digest the pill or the tablet. That's where this comes in. Healthy Cell. They've got like 15, maybe 18 now, different formulations to help you sleep, to help your hair stay shiny and your skin clean or clear, for your eyes, to protect your vision and the clarity of your eyes, to help you with blood flow, to help you with blood sugar, to help you with all sorts of things. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. The Focus and Recall. I have gone, it's longer than a year. Every single day, I take my Healthy Cell Focus and Recall. And I feel that in 30 minutes, a lot of the cobwebs that kind of sidetrack me go away and I can focus on you. That's why I like it. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. They're a wonderful company. They're super responsive and they love you. They love you. What you looking at? Does it look yucky?
White out.
It's white. Is it snowing?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
didn't know it was supposed to.
Wow. Let's see. Not like I've never seen snow before. So I should probably give you guys at some point, it's the stupid Canada Goose update.
Oh, there's an update.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't even get it.
Oh, yeah. I've got people jumping through hoops now. Hey, I appreciate it. I just needed somebody to pay attention to me. Just a little
About
bit.
a discount for my
Pay freaking attention to me. And now they're following through. Did you get the prepaid, label to send it back? And, this is my personal phone number. Call me when you send it. And we'll keep our eye on it, and then we'll process your return and give you the new one.
But you paid me for the time it took to.
Jeez, I'm telling you what. That's why when you find a company that does what it says it's going to do.
Customer service.
God bless America, customer service. Right? Like, I believe that Brock and I serve you, right? You're our customers. I have to deliver every day. There's not a day to be like, well, I think I'm only going to give it 65% today. Like, that doesn't work. It's either going to be 100% or it's going to be nothing. And I think emailing the CEO. What does a mom of 5 have to do? I guess I'll never buy another one of your products for any of my children again. True. Canada Goose. Okay. Say something very interesting. Look, I'm going to say this. I know this president weaves. I know he likes to go off on tangents. He does come back full circle, but there's a reason why he talks to us the way he does. And when you have an opportunity to hear him in a longer format, it's super interesting to just put in maybe some AirPods and walk around and listen to what he says as you're mopping the floor, making dinner, doing laundry, whatever it is, because he tells you. It's like having the Christmas story decoder ring. Drink your Ovaltine. He's giving you the key to read what's coming. because the media are too dumb or too biased to pick up on it, and they have to be outraged by things. One of the things he said yesterday, super important, it's necessary. He's talking about we have to get the criminally ill and the chemically dependent. We got to get them off the street. This is not how civil society works. I guess after the, one flew over the cuckoo's nest 60s and 70s, there was a massive shutdown of all of these these mental institutions and insane asylums, mental hospitals, et cetera, et cetera. That's not humane, blah, blah, blah. So, it's a much better idea. We'll release people into the streets so they can terrorize everybody. This is what the president said yesterday in this 2-hour address, basically to the media, but also to America. Listen.
There's a reason for bail, long tested. Signed an executive order to bring back mental institutions and insane asylums. We're going to have to bring them back. Hate to build those suckers, but you got to get the people off the streets.
You've got to get the people off the streets. People say Trump is spending too much time talking about global issues. He's not focused on America. Oh, please. Are you insane? Well, he says those who need to get off the street, and they need to have facilities to be safely and humanely treated. Ready? So this is the White House one sheet, his executive order. This is what it says. By the authority vested in me as president of the constitutional laws of the United States of America, ending crime and disorder on America's streets is a priority. Endemic vagrancy, disorderly behavior, sudden confrontations, violent attacks have made our cities unsafe. Facts. How many of you wander around your cultural district at night after you see a show? Nobody does. Nobody feels safe anymore. The number of individuals living on the streets in the United States on a single night during the last year of the previous administration, 274,224, was the highest ever recorded. The overwhelming majority of these individuals are addicted to drugs, have a mental health condition, or both. Nearly 2/3 of homeless individuals report having regularly used hard drugs like methamphetamines, cocaine, or opioids in their lifetimes. As an equally large share of homeless individuals reported suffering from mental health conditions, the federal government and the states have spent tens of billions of dollars on failed programs that address homelessness but not its root causes, leaving other citizens vulnerable to public safety threats. Shifting homeless individuals in long-term institutional settings for humane treatment through the appropriate use of civil commitment will restore public order. Surrendering our cities and citizens to disorder and fear is neither compassionate to the homeless nor other citizens. And my administration will take a new approach focused on protecting public safety. You didn't hear that with the Democrats. You didn't hear anything from them about your needs, about your safety, about your taxes, about your livelihood, about your children, about your joy, about what matters to you. This president wants you to be safe. He wants your children to be safe. Did you hear this? This is a great thing just to throw in. I caught this on Breitbart yesterday. U.S. drug overdose deaths. How about this? They plummet as the Trump administration cracks down on the border. I mean, this is not rocket science. This is not take a Rhodes Scholar to connect the dots. When you shut down the border and you tell people you probably don't want to load all of your drugs into that boat and try to Scooby across the Caribbean Sea to get to our shores because we're going to blow you into fish food. And then you do it. And then you do it again. And then you do it 20 more times. And you know what happens? Ultimately, people stop playing Russian roulette with the president who's got a loaded gun. Stop it. Stop trying to hurt our people. Stop trying to steal our secrets. Stop trying to insert your influence over our people. Stop protesting and driving people nutty. Stop making excuses for the failures of prior administrations, and let's do it together. Let's clean it up. Sounds good to me. So when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about this. Why are the media so against every single thing that we are all for? Because what Trump is talking about isn't just good for Republicans. It's good for all all of us, well, the media prove again they are public enemy number one. 93% negative news coverage of the ICE enforcement activities in Minneapolis. It's shameful, predictable, and called out next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Ah, snap. All right, I'm going to... do you have to go to the bathroom?
Nope.
Okay. I'll be right back.
The bottom of this next half hour, you're going to love. You're going to love. It's a follow-up of a story we did yesterday. It had to do with Scott Jennings. I love that Trump is calling out all these elites. I don't even like calling them elites. Going out to people who can afford to go to these things. They're elite at maybe making money. But you had the guy from one of the countries saying we can Finland, we can defend ourselves. And then about 3 hours later, he's walking that comment back. Well, that's not really what I said. Of course, one of these things is like we have enough bunkers and to protect our people. That's called running. That's not defending. That's called running away. There's a difference between defending yourself and running away. Well, if it's snowing here, so someone said, please keep that snow on your side of the state. It's coming. Don't try the turnpike. God forbid you get stuck in a snowstorm on a turnpike. Nowhere to get off. Don't even get her started about it. Driving in a snowstorm on a turnpike.
Oh, God. U.S. drug overdose deaths fell by 20.6% over the course of 1 year. It's almost like common sense matters. It's so frustrating. Isn't it it's so frustrating dealing with people who act stupid just because they want to protect their money making. Just because they want to collect cash, keep their empire going, whatever. So what? Who dies? Who gets hurt? I don't understand. And then they wrap themselves in compassion and love and care and joy. Oh, we're the party of joy. No, you're not. You're just so gross. You're so gross. I want to tell you something. You know what gross is? Gross is cleaning the hood over your stove where your children enjoy cooking sausage and bacon on a daily basis. Do you want to imagine how greasy and disgusting this hood was over? It was so gross. And literally there's grease dripping off of it. And I was like, oh my gosh. So Joe and I look at it last night. I'm like, I've got just the thing. And I take out my knockout. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Look, this thing, who has the greatest deodorizer? You have something that smells in your house, or you're just trying to get rid of the odor of, spray it with knockout. You're welcome. And it doubles as a degreaser. Like, how does that work? Right? Like it doesn't make any sense. I told you what I use it for. Makes no sense to me. What?
My mats in my car.
Oh yeah. So Joe and I spray it. He gets up on the thing and he's going like this. And thank goodness for knockout. It completely made quick work of a cruddy, sticky, disgusting situation. That greasy touch feel. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Everything on that site we love. 100%.
And they have he has put the creamy honey and chocolate.
It's pretty delicious. It's pretty delicious.
So pick up a thing of Knockout or Sniper.
If you want to try and support, local workers, local businesses,
he was with the gentleman who does that.
Mm-hmm.
And he had said that we'd mentioned it on the show.
Uh-huh.
And the guy was super excited.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He tried calling me, but I was on the phone.
So it's honey that's got chocolate. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's really good.
If
you like Nutella, it's a different kind of flavor. That's with honey though.
So I told Kate about it.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "Oh, we ordered some of that last year for all her local Hallmark stores." And she's like, "We sold out of it like that."
Wow.
She's like, she looks at me, she goes, "Did you try it? It's so good." Like, I don't want to take it home now. Like, I'm going to get
I have
none
to
of
hide it from my wife.
Yeah, I'm going to get none of it.
Wow.
You know? Hey.
This is a day to have like a hot cocoa or a cup of tea or something like that as it's snowing outside and make a nice piece of toast.
Or a beer.
With something,
or bourbon.
I was so not going with beer or bourbon. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So I do admit I am biased. I have an anti-mainstream media bias. And one could probably deduce there are many reasons why. I got fired from my job in 2016 as a early part of cancel culture, but that isn't why I have disdain for the legacy quote unquote news. I have unique inside perspective watching the system, and then outwardly as an outsider watching what they do. It's so dangerous to have a media that really is the propaganda wing of one of your two major political parties. And that's just the truth of where we are. That if you were to flip on your local television station, you do not have a conservative group of folks talking to you. They're going to give you the news through a certain lens. And that's why a lot of people have just turned it off. And when 93% of it is negative, do you really believe that's fair in any regard? No, but that's standard operating for President Trump and basically the coverage of his objectives. So I want to read this to you from our friends at newsbusters.com or .org, I should say. This is one of my favorite sites. I check it all the time. And so this is from the Media Research Center. And these are the people who go through all of the stuff. They record every show and they go back and they click and they time who says what and how they say it. And was it positive? Was it negative? How long did they spend talking about this? And there's so much fraud by omission in the media where they simply don't tell you things. They don't tell you important things that either this president or this administration is trying to accomplish. They just abjectly forget about it. They just memory hole it. And unless you're looking elsewhere, you have other sources of information, you're none the wiser. It's dangerous. But there are fewer of us who are captive to the mainstream news, and they know it, and the numbers are proving it. Study. TV news hammers ICE border enforcement with 93% negative coverage. 93%. Look, if you and I were to talk about what happened with Renee Good in Minneapolis, right? And we were to sit down and we're going to tell people about what happened. She did this, he did that. These are the circumstances. Do you think that you would get 93% of a group of people to agree on something? I don't think so. You'd have more of a spectrum. But when it comes to anything that this administration does, it's always 100% almost negative. Since the January 7th fatal shooting of left-wing agitator Renee Good by an ICE officer, Minneapolis has been gripped by riots and lawlessness and escalating tensions between activists and federal law enforcement. Meanwhile, left-wing broadcast networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC, have spent more than 2 hours of airtime blaming the chaos on immigration officials. You know, I don't think I would have been able to tell you before I was fired from television news how absolutely biased and manipulative and dangerous the industry is. It was back then when you can use propaganda and you can create a fake narrative and you can lead a country or a portion of it down a road that is 100% fictitious. That's control. That's danger. And President Trump calls it out repeatedly. Media Research Center analysts pored through every report about the situation in Minneapolis, which aired on ABC's World News Tonight, CBS's Evening News, and NBC Nightly News from January 7th, the day she was killed, through January 17th, so just a few days ago. We found a total of 121 minutes and 26 seconds of coverage devoted to the topic, of which a whopping 93% was negative toward federal immigration officials. ABC, CBS, and NBC's flagship evening newscasts all hammered ICE with more than 90% negative coverage. 91% negative on ABC and NBC, 96% negative on CBS. Just 1.6% of the Minneapolis-related coverage, including any mention of the crimes committed by the illegal aliens whom ICE agents were there to apprehend to begin with. Right? CBS never explicitly admitted that that Renee Nicole Good hit Agent Jonathan Ross with her car moments before he fired at her. ABC and NBC did so only once each. Networks found ICE agent Ross guilty of murder. That's a little dangerous, isn't it? To determine the skew of the coverage, analysts examined the selection of sound bites around the situation in Minneapolis that each network chose to air. On CBS, 26 of the 27 sound bites were critical of, or more often, outright hostile towards ICE. Both ABC and NBC aired 21 such sound bites versus only 2 that were positive. You know, look, it's not going to ever be 50-50. It's not going to be 100% one way or the other either. It shouldn't be. What are we doing? Well, you're being propagandized. Because I believe, obviously, this whole ICE immigration thing, this whole clamp down on illegals, the last stand, the ultimate Alamo for the left to protect the voters they imported from other countries on your taxpayer dime through Joe Biden's auto pen open border. This is what they're protecting. They flew them in. They tried to stash them. They lied about them. They tried to tell people can't fly drones over these crossover areas at the Rio Grande. Remember that? Not allowed to do that. The FAA banned all drones because they didn't want us to see the degree of humanity racing for the border. 20 million people in 4 years. How many of them are bad actors? A hell of a lot. That's what ICE is trying to get rid of. Obviously, that's not the message that's being told. Now, this is kind of interesting. This is very interesting. So Gayle King over at CBS, Oprah's best friend, right? I mean, literally, that's her claim to fame, is that she's connected to Oprah Winfrey. And so I guess if you pay Gayle King, you guys know that she makes $13 million. Is that amazing to you? $13 million. It's not tenable. It's not affordable. CBS can't make that payment anymore. And the new chief executive of the news division over at CBS, Bari Weiss, apparently is hoping to cut Gayle King's salary in half. I mean, I think $6.5 million is still egregiously overpaid for what she does. But okay, here's your story. New York Post. This is it. This is the beginning of the end. This is the beginning of the CBS News leadership is looking to give morning host Gayle King a new special correspondent gig. Special. We've got a special assignment. We got a special role for you. It's got a new title and a monster demotion. With half of her estimated $13 million annual salary, sources with knowledge of the matter told the Post. The situation apparently comes as the outlet's editor-in-chief, Bari Weiss, has been shaking up the organization, drawing heavy scrutiny for personnel moves and editorial decisions. Look, anybody who's had a boss who's come in, who's been the Bigfoot, who's got to cut the staff in half, nobody really cares about your feelings. You're not in charge. The parent company is. And the parent company is saying, oh, snap, we're not profitable. Bring somebody in to make the decisions that need to be done so we don't hemorrhage money. I don't care what you think is the rank and file. This is your media. This is your progressive left. These are the people like that punk kid, that Cameron Kasky guy who tried to tell Scott Jennings over at CNN, you're not allowed to use the term illegal aliens. And Scott Jennings is like, who the hell are you? Like, who honestly the hell are you? Media. You're not allowed to demote us. You're not allowed to fire us. You're not allowed to tell us that our 60 Minutes thing can't air. Yeah, well, that's my job, and that is what is going on. Weiss and CBS News President Tom Zabrowski have been considering moving King from her current role as co-host of CBS Mornings to special correspondent, or a position in which King does occasional reports that let her put her skill of interviewing celebrities to use. You guys, what celebrity are you interested in hearing from? Because you know what I want? I want to see Gayle King go to LA. I'd like her to sit down and talk to Mayor Bass. And while she's at it, maybe because she can do so well with celebrities, and God knows Gavin Newsom, right? Twinkle Toes Ken, or whatever the hell Sparkleberry Ken. Right? Why don't she bring him down too? And we'll have a conversation about why not one single freaking home in the Palisades has been rebuilt. Beyond that, why there hasn't even been a single building permit handed out. Why doesn't Gayle King do that? I don't need to know what Tom Cruise is doing. I don't give a fat rip about Nicole Kidman, her divorce, or what have you. I want to know what the hell is going on in America. Now, if Gayle King wants to go do that sort of deep stuff, okay. How do you think she's going to feel about this? Maybe Oprah will call in, see if she can put in a big, a helper for Gayle, her best friend. Weiss and CBS News president, they want to knock her down. King and Weiss recently had a low-key lunch to talk about King's future. I don't care. The whole point of me saying this is I don't care, but you can't continually put out a product that night after night is a lie and expect to be viable. I don't expect every news viewer out there who watches evening news from these networks, and there are still some, to have our perspective on what they're being propagandized over. But more and more people are waking up because people like Nick Shirley and Nick Sorter, who I was horrified to see get assaulted and literally dragged from his car. These people are going out and they're literally putting their lives on the line to drain the swamp, to pull the plug, to highlight the fraud, to show you who the offenders are. It should not take 5 years for Ilhan Omar's $30 million net worth to raise flags and to get people talking. It shouldn't be hundreds or thousands of fake businesses saying that they're doing things and providing services that they're not. It shouldn't take warnings to Governor Walz dating back to his inauguration in 2019 for us to realize how many tens of billions of dollars has been pilfered from us. Brock, what did Trump just say? He said if we could bring back what? How much?
If we could get half, 50% of the debt or the
fraud
out, we would have a balanced budget.
So half of the fraud that basically rips all of us off, which we've heard is somewhere along the neighborhood of $700 billion. If we could take half of that away, we could get out of debt. But the left doesn't want that. The media don't want that. The people on the ground in Minneapolis are doing everything they can to stop that. Why? Because they need to limp to November of 2026 so badly. It's not even funny. It's the last stand. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about this Scott Jennings, Cameron Kasky thing or whatever his name is. Yeah. So there's a little bit of an apology. Not a big one, a little bit of an apology after what happened on CNN the other night. Got it for you next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. See, Scott Jennings.
Save the money.
Big time. Is now what George Bush said to Dick Cheney, major league a-hole. Big time.
Let me say this to someone asking about they get Rumble Premium. Why don't they get a subscription here? That Rumble Premium is separate from what we do. Like that's, I believe, so you don't get the commercials at the beginning of each show. I don't even know. I don't have a Rumble Premium account.
I don't either.
But that has nothing to do with a subscription to us or our locals page to get even. See, this is what I don't understand. To get our locals, which is the rundown that we put out every day, that's different than a subscription, I believe, to actually the show on Rumble. So, like, I don't understand it.
I'm not really sure, but we're not. Yeah, that's not our gig.
Yeah, like they make you charge for locals for certain things. That's why we only charge $50 a year. In 2 of the months are free. They want you to charge $5 a month, and
I think some of it's just like I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, to be honest with you, if you wanted to start a podcast,
you could do it off of what I do.
It's worth it, yeah.
Why are you giving people options? What are you doing?
I'm just, just saying. I've seen other people rip it off.
I want to tell you guys about the Simkovich Concussion Institute. If you've ever had something happen or you've watched somebody have a traumatic brain injury or get hurt somewhere, get in an accident, you could tell they're just not back. They're not stable yet. Things are going on. They're having some difficulty. It could be very isolating. It's very frightening. How do you fix a damaged brain? You can't see a concussion on an MRI or a CT or an X-ray. You've got to go to somebody who is an expert. And there is an expert, and his name is Dr. Charles Simkovich. We know him personally. He's a lovely man. He's funny as all get out. But what he can do with his hands when he basically has you laid down on a table, whether it's face down or face up, he puts his hands in your mouth and he can feel various things that indicate you've been injured. And he can do things to adjust your soft palate, adjust your sphenoid process, adjust things, pull on your ear, push like this, move things in your mouth. He can feel when you're out of whack and he can get you back on track. Most people get relief in a couple sessions. And they have this intensive concussion protocol where they sit you in there for like 3 or 4 days, couple hours a day, but it's repeated, bum, 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 bum. And you're the focus and they're going to fix you and you're going to get healed, by golly. At the end of this, you're going to be better. You are. If you want to learn more, call 412-366-3700. We've watched it. He's gone through it. He's felt it. Right? He sat down with Dr. Simkovich, went through the whole intake thing, all of it. It fixes people when they need it most. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com, 412-366-3700. 6,000 of you guys here. I'm super jazzed. Hump Day, midweek viewership is sort of like hit or miss. But look at you.
Oh, I meant to send you something for the next...
For the next.
For the 2?
Mm-hmm.
Just a little add-on. I don't know if you had it.
Wow. There's so... Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. It's so funny how we don't hear much about that ballroom over at the White House. Remember, everybody had their boxers in a bunch, hair on fire. Trump's getting other people to pay for the new ballroom. It's going to be $200 million to benefit future presidents to be able to host dignitaries from around the world and not put them out on the lawn, you know, to stand, walk through the mud to sit down and have dinner. They were nutty over that. Didn't cost you a darn thing. President Trump even said, you know what, I'm going to give to it. I got rich friends. They're going to give to it. This is what we believe in. It's our gift to America. And the left went bananas, right? It's so interesting. Trump, though, with his ballroom, with all of the things, his lawsuits alone have raised more money, raised enough money probably for his presidential library, a good chunk of it. Joe Biden, the guy who got the most votes ever in American history, who had not a single dollar donated to his presidential library fund in 2024, because that makes sense. This is the obvious nature of how obnoxiously ridiculous things have gotten in this country, right? He got all these votes, but no money. Here's a guy that got 77 million votes who doesn't charge you for things, but the media hate. Who's the one you want to get behind? Well, let's talk about Scott Jennings, because the media have basically been put on blast. CBS, for sure. Trump says, I'll sue the everlasting liver out of you the same way I will blow Iran off the map if they even think of trying to take me out. And he's flexed his muscles, and he's sued, and he has won. He's settled, and he has won tens of millions of dollars. Well, I want you to hear how Scott Jennings just saved CNN from a mighty expensive lawsuit. We played this video for you yesterday. This is Scott Jennings on a CNN panel. He's with this guy, 25-year-old kid named Cameron Kasky. And I guess he's a Parkland school shooting survivor. I guess he was 16 when it happened. And now he's considered, I don't know, a 25-year-old progressive liberal activist guy who's worthy of a CNN panel. Make it make sense. This is what happened as this Cameron Kasky guy decided to say Donald Trump is involved in some kind of disgusting sex ring with children. Listen.
They have to chase down illegals.
Now we're going to tell local law enforcement,
You're saying
step down
illegals
and surrender.
as if they're only
How about
targeting...
the government comes clean if you're saying they're doing that? Doesn't seem like they're doing that. Their actions do not speak
I recognize,
to those words.
I recognize you don't get to say the word illegals anymore.
And you have.
The
I don't.
The percentage...
Who
are you to tell me what I can and can't? I've never met you, brother.
Listen,
I can say whatever I want. They're illegal aliens, and that's what the law calls them, illegal aliens. That's what I'm going to call them.
So he says, you're not allowed to call him that. Then he says something else, all right? Then it got a little bit more heated. Scott saves CNN from litigation when this kid says what he says about Trump with children.
Appreciative that the president is being transparent about this. I would love it if he was more transparent about the human sex trafficking network that he was a part of, but you can't win them all.
Cameron's grateful that the president is being transparent about the Nobel Peace Prize and his desires for Greenland. Scott, what do you think about that?
You going to let that sit? Are we going to claim here on CNN that the president is part of a global sex trafficking ring, or?
Well,
I mean,
we're going to talk about the Epstein file. Scott, I will do the fact checking as we go along here. Repeat what you said about the global sex trafficking ring.
That Donald Trump was provably very involved with it.
Okay, we'll get to that later. I mean, Donald Trump has never been charged with any crimes in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. But
let's be adults here.
We'll talk about that.
Let's be serious.
Satisfied?
Satisfied, John? No, see, here's the funny thing. Not only did Scott Jennings save CNN from a monster lawsuit, he just exposed how this John Berman guy wasn't even paying attention. Didn't even hear the kids say that Donald Trump is involved in some kind of child sex trafficking thing. Really? Well, apparently the message got through to Cameron Kasky because he has posted something on Twitter, which, by the way, 4 people have seen. Instead of like the 4,000 who probably heard him say that on CNN, their numbers are down. This is what he wrote. I would like to retract my comments from CNN last night and truly apologize. Donald Trump, see, if he truly wanted to apologize, he would at least call him President Trump. Donald Trump was obviously not involved with a giant international child sex trafficking ring where women and children were systematically raped by elites. I said that by accident, and I didn't mean it. You know, when I say something by accident, I use a word perhaps that's not the right word. I don't accuse the President of the United States of being involved in some kind of a global network to abuse children and then come forward and be like, oh, you know, about that. Yeah, you know what? I don't know what got into me. It was kind of weird. I didn't mean that. I said that by accident. Well, if you said that by accident, why did you say it again later on in the broadcast? Cameron. I don't know if it's going to be enough, guys. Scott Jennings tried to put it out there. The Chinese spy balloon. He tried to put it out there for John Berman. Don't think this is what we want to do, John. But since you're going to be in charge of the fact checking, I'm sure CNN's star anchor is all over it. That is where we are. Say outrageous things when people are paying attention and then retract them somewhere in a much quieter statement, right? That nobody really sees, but maybe will help you stave off a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit. Good luck, Cam. Hope it all works for you. When we come back, hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program. What's going on with Virginia? It's Democrats, progressives gone wild. Taxes are already up $6 billion. What? And that's just for starters. Next.
I think they should have made that kid
come back
and say
sit
it
down,
loud.
sit down. Let's sit back. Let's bring back our team. We're going to reimagine the same night. Bring everybody back. All right, now let's have a roundtable discussion about that. Do you think that's sufficient? Is that enough of an apology?
No, I would have done this. This is what I would have done. If I'm the producer of the show, I'm going to be like, so you're going to start the show, John Berman, Abby Phillip, whoever's going to fill in, and say, hey, last night we had so-and-so on, and he made a statement, and we want to give him a chance to say he was wrong, apologize, use whatever word you want. Here's your time to retract your statement. Not on Twitter where no one follows you. Yeah. And then made him eat crow right there on live TV. I'll be curious to see when he comes back.
I'm telling you.
I mean, they let Tubin apologize for wanking it during a Zoom call. They interviewed him about it. Yeah. Right? But they interviewed him about it.
You know the nice thing about being at Dr. Rafferty's office?
You don't have to watch Jeffrey Tubin?
You do not have to watch him. You can lie on your back, relax, right? And allow the treatment to do what it does. Look, if you have a bulging or herniated disc in your back, you know that the pain is tough. It's really tough. And before you have surgery, wouldn't you want to find out if there was a way that was less invasive to treat you? Well, there is something, and it's non-surgical. And it's called intradisc neutrosis, and it's done at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh, pittsburghdiscinstitute.com. And what it is it's like, if you can imagine, this is how I imagine it. It's like being on a table and having it spread you or kind of allow the space to open up so that your discs can regenerate, which is fascinating. Your discs can grow back. And that if they're given enough space and they're given the room to do it, they do. And then, boom, you avoid surgery. There's nobody cutting into your back, which is just like, no needles, no blood, no recovery like that. It's just a therapy. It takes 8 to 10 weeks usually. And people come to Pittsburgh and they get an extended, rental somewhere. It's that life-changing that people will legitimately put their lives on hold to go through the therapy so that they can go through the rest of their lives pain-free. Intradisc neutrosis. You can read about it by going to their website. You can call them anytime and ask about it. Their people are phenomenal. All the reviews I get, the 5-star reviews I get from the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh, the number one thing they talk about is not even that their back is better, but that the people there were like their family. They became like their family. And they're so excited to be able to ring the bell and leave for the last time pain-free. 98% successful. Surgery-free. 412-906-9600. That's worth it to me. 412-906-9600. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. Love it. Love, love, love it. Uno, dos, tres. I think the whole retraction after the fact is so disingenuous, you know? Oh, I didn't mean that. Well, you did because you said it twice. So I'm going to go with bullcrap. How are you guys? How's everybody? Hi, Eric, 1986. How are you, babe? Hi, Rusk or Ruak. Who is it? Oh, it's Ruak. Hi, Ruak. Hi, Corey. Hi, Kimba.
Oh, Cameron just put out a tweet.
No, he didn't.
Oh, wow. The people sending me death threats are getting relentless as they were in the Parkland days.
Oh, God. Always the victim.
Fellas, I'm tired. Give me a week or so.
Just, you know what? Admit that you did something stupid. You got called out for it. Grow up, learn from your mistakes, and shut your pie hole. Don't try to be a victim. See, I don't see conservatives being a victim. They tried to kill President Trump. They fired, Thomas Crooks tried to kill him, right? I don't remember him playing a victim. I don't remember that. I remember him go, fight, fight, fight in the moment.
Yeah, he stood up and told him to basically F off.
Right. Hi, Mama Bear. Hi, John. What's going on, babe? Hi, Aqua Blue. Less taxes. How are you, babe? I love you back. I see your face when I say that. I know exactly who you are since I met you. Hi, Tioga. What's up, Randall? I love and Callie. Hi, baby. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Treach. What's up, Edith McGroin and Danae? I also saw there was another Uncle Cliff with one F today. There's a lot of swearing and not a lot of oomph. What's going on?
Still love to have an Uncle Cliff. Ask Uncle Cliff.
Hi, Wendy. I love your teeth. Really? I have a call with Rumble tomorrow, and I'm going to ask. I sent them a message. Can we please get the Smile toothpaste? Like, I'm all about it. Something that helps build back your enamel if you've got like receding gums and whatnot, so you can cut back on the sensitivity. I've got sensitivity, couple spots, right? And whitens your teeth without using fluoride. It uses peptides. I'm like, can we please have that? Is that hard? I don't even have to do a commercial for them, and I'm just talking about them because I want their stuff. Thank you. FRD 45. You rock, Wendy and Brock. Well, thank you. You too. Hi, Marnie.
276.
We're getting there. We're inching along. I appreciate you guys. You know, we have not been hurting on our Rumble on the leaderboard. You guys have been amazing. We're with people there who have got hundreds of thousands more views than we, and we're neck and neck. I mean, duh, but I mean, still. It's rude that you smirk.
I was.
Some of the stuff that's going on is really kind of nutty. So what do we have? We have Brett. How long is he?
209.
Yeah, we got a couple long ones. So 210, 204, 35. Okay.
Yeah, don't yap too much.
Wow.
Just saying.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is on the clock. You got to think about this. To Abigail Spanberger's credit, former CIA, to her credit, she told everybody exactly who she was going to be when she ran to be the governor of Virginia. She told everybody what she was going to do. She said it all, and they voted for her anyway. They voted for her over a black Marine lieutenant governor named Winston Sears. Winston Sears would have been so much better, but okay, this is what Virginia got. You guys ready? Because very rarely do you get to see a projection. Something happening right now that if doesn't get changed is going to absolutely destroy something in the not so distant future. Yeah, this is what, if you look at what happens to Virginia, this is what's going to happen if Democrats retake control of Congress. God forbid become president again. All right, so here's the story. The first legislative item for Abigail Spanberger as the governor of Virginia was to sign a bill to eliminate mandatory minimum sentences for rape and manslaughter and assaulting a police officer and possession of child pornography and repeat violent offenses. No, we're not going to have minimum. You're a scumbag. That's 10 years. We're going to leave it to the discretion of the liberal activist judges in our state to determine what you do and do not need to serve prison time wise. That's very interesting development. Does that sound like that's Virginia first? Does that sound like it's you first, you-centric? Of course not. What else has she done? Well, she was very quick to repeal Glenn Youngkin's emergency or executive order mandating cooperation with state and local law enforcement with ICE. So kiss that goodbye. She voted no to the Laken-Riley Act, voted no to the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act. Like, what are you doing? Are you stupid? You're not stupid. No, this is very purposeful. No to the Laken-Riley Act. Saying if you're a criminal illegal alien and you've been caught breaking the law, you got to stay in lockup for a period of time. No, that's not what the new Democrat governor of Virginia thinks. Okay. She's also in favor of assisted suicide. Abigail Spanberger opposes voter ID laws because, well, they make it harder to cheat, of course. She supports dangerous criminal justice reforms, like getting rid of those mandatory minimums, right? And so let's listen to a little bit, because this is Brett Baer, who is by no means somebody I like, but over at Fox, he's reading a list of things that Abigail Spanberger and Democrats in Virginia are for, which is mind-bendingly liberal, progressive wacko. And then he introduces this guy named Josh Holmes. He's a co-host of a podcast called Ruthless. And they go through the list of all of Spanberger's and the Democrat-controlled Virginia legislature's new taxes. Oh my gosh. Buckle up and bend over if you're a Virginian.
That's the new governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Abigail Spanberger ran for that office as a moderate. But the executive order that she talked about is state and local police not cooperating with ICE to get criminal illegal immigrants. There's also a list of, now the Democrats control the legislature, that a number of bills that have been put forward. You can't read it here, but let me just go through it. Sales tax on Uber Eats, Amazon. Sales tax on admissions to a variety of businesses. Create 2 new higher tax brackets. 10% tax bracket for anyone making over $1 million. 3.8 investment tax. Raise the hotel tax. New personal property tax on landscaping equipment. Ban gas-powered leaf blowers. Guarantee illegal aliens free education. Make it illegal to approach somebody at an abortion clinic. Extend the time absentee ballots can be received after Election Day. Allow people to cast their votes electronically through the internet. Expand ranked choice voting. Extend the deadline for ballot curing. Redact the addresses of political candidates from FOIAs. Add Virginia to the National Popular Vote Compact. Make it illegal to hand count ballots. $500 sales tax on firearm suppressors. Assault weapons and large capacity magazine ban. 11% sales tax on all firearms and ammunition. Prohibit outdoor shooting of a firearm less than 5 acres. Lower the criminal penalties for robbery. Ban the arrest of illegal aliens in courthouses. Remove mandatory minimum sentences. Allow localities to install speed cameras. And replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day.
Wow.
So elections have consequences, Josh.
What a spectacular reminder that we no longer live in an era where there's an existence of a moderate Democrat. I think for the last 6 months, for those of us who pointed out that the Mamdanis of the world had taken over the Democratic Party, we were assured, no, that's not the new face of the Democratic Party. It's people like moderates, Abigail Spanberger. I mean, she's there for a cup of coffee, and all of a sudden we have a communist manifesto out in front of us. This is going fast and furious, but it is how Democrats govern. Regardless of what they say, even in a purple state like Virginia, Youngkin didn't govern as a right-wing lunatic. She's trying to take it so far left, it's almost unrecognizable.
Is that what you want? Is that what you wanted, Virginia? Did the Commonwealth of Virginia want that so fast? She's been there not even a month, and already they're raising property taxes like $6 billion. You know, we feel something like that here in Pennsylvania because our Commonwealth sucks just as much with Democrat blue hellscape rule. In fact, when the new year rolled around, it was interesting. Allegheny County, where I live, we have a 36% increase in property tax. The new socialist county executive wanted 46.5%. I guess we should be lucky it was going to be more. And the city of Pittsburgh upped theirs 20% property tax. Really? For what? It's still aren't picking up trash. So there's that. I want you to hear what Chicago is dealing with. Chicago getting absolutely hammered by higher property taxes, all while the downtown Hyatt Hotel, which is, yes, what part of the Pritzker family brand, gets a tax break. Wait a minute. What?
That's right, Marie. I'm told the average homeowner is actually paying about $700 more on their property tax bill because big commercial buildings like the hotel behind me, that's the Crown Plaza here in Greektown, got breaks on their bills. In this case, $14 million.
My tax bill had doubled. It went from $9,600 to $19,100.
Frustrated with rising property tax bills, you've heard from Cook County residents barely making ends meet, hit hardest by those rising bills. Meanwhile, commercial properties are getting millions of dollars in adjustments, a burden that's falling on those taxpayers.
It's $500 million shifted onto Chicago homeowners alone.
That's according to Cook County Assessor Fritz Kagi.
Welcome, everybody.
Assessor Kagi joined by South and West Side community leaders calling for relief for homeowners, on average paying about $700 more, they say, because of those commercial adjustments.
For many other neighborhoods, the burden shift accounts for the majority of the tax bill increase.
To me, he described the break commercial properties are getting as a dinner bill, where homeowners are now forced to pay more than their share.
We're all sharing the dinner bill here in Chicago.
It's on the back of people who can least afford it.
Nidra Sims-Fears leads the Greater Chatham Initiative and told me these rising bills are more than a stressor on the city's south side. Unexpectedly high bills are pushing people out of their homes.
I see in our community people lose their homes because they owe $2,000 to $3,000 in property taxes.
So who's getting the break homeowners are paying for? We looked closer. The Cook County Board of Review cut $48 million in value from the Trump Tower, $150 million from the Hyatt Regency, and $80 million from a data center near McCormick Place. An analysis by the assessor's office found that nearly 250,000 households across Cook County have seen unsustainable tax bill increases in recent years.
250, 250,000 people can't afford the property tax increase that Democrats just willy-nilly, indiscriminately think they're just going to slap on. It's a rounding error. What's another extra $1,000? Oh, says Zoran Mamdani in New York City, we're just going to tax the millionaires. I mean, they're not going to notice 2% more. Like, what's that? That's like nothing. It's a rounding error, he said. Do you know how offensive that is to all of us? And what do you get? What are you getting? Are you getting something in return for this? No, you get absolutely nothing in return. Hey, Generation Z, if you're paying attention to me right now, and you should be, because I'm going to tell you, voting Democrat is shooting your own future in the foot. Don't talk about affordability. Don't talk about your inability to afford a home. Don't talk to us about how you've got to stay at home with your parents until you're 40. Talk about how the Democrats have ruined the fiscal reality for so many people in this country. This isn't something Republicans do. We believe in cutting taxes. We believe in smaller government. We believe in getting out of your way, not getting in it. And you have a president who believes in giving you $2,000 by the end of the year.
With Kevin Hassett on that, or do you think you can do that unilaterally?
I don't think we would have to go the Congress route, but we'll find out. The reason we're even talking about it is that we have so much money coming in from tariffs that we'll be able to issue at least a $2,000 dividend and also pay down debt for the country. But we'd do a $2,000 dividend to the people of our country. We would probably set a limit of, income limit where it made sense. But we will be able to make a very substantial dividend to the people of our country. I believe we can do that without Congress.
Can you imagine if one of those people who just saw a $700 property tax increase, which, by the way, could force them out, $700, can you imagine getting anything back from the government? When was the last time you did? How about they just stop taxing the liver out of you? How about that? How about being fair? Not in a Democrat scape. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, City's Church in St. Paul, Minnesota. They've got something to say to Don Lemming and all of the militant agitators who invaded their Sunday worship. 7 sentences of almighty hellfire next. All right.
Wasn't sound, was it?
What'd you say?
7 sentences?
No.
Okay.
No.
I wish someone would ask the lady who, I'm going to stereotype, black lady, who'd you vote for?
Don't complain to me. I don't vote for Democrats. I don't fall for socialists. I don't believe in communism, right? At all. At all. Period. And you want to see Commonwealth, you want to see a state go down the tubes real fast? Well,
watch Pittsburgh.
Let's watch Pennsylvania further. Let's watch Virginia further. Look at California. I want to tell you about Dr. Dubiak and bodybyAIM360.com. If you get his comprehensive blood workup, it's one of the most eye-opening results, like long list of results you'll ever have in your life. It tells you all about these hormones in your blood, tells you all about your the way you process certain things, and it cracks the code about why you're not losing weight. Do you ever notice that you can change fundamentally everything that you're doing? You can eat only lettuce and barely move the needle when it comes to your weight. And you're like, I don't understand. Like, am I just not able to do it anymore? No, your body changes. Your body changes, and this blood work is phenomenal at identifying what's going on. So it checks your metabolic health to see how well your body is turning food into energy. It measures hormones, the messengers that affect everything from your mood and your sleep to your weight and your energy. It looks at inflammation, right? That's something that Brock found out real fast. Found out the foods he was eating that were irritating his joints, things that he was doing as he started losing weight. The pressure on his joints decreased. It was such a godsend. Also, this blood test checks your nutrient levels so you can spot what your body might be missing. You find out all sorts of stuff. And organ function. Your kidneys, your thyroid, when these organs aren't working their best, you can feel tired all the time. Who wants to get up and work out when you feel like you're dragged all the time? Well, this blood work at bodybyAIM360.com, which is now $199. This is a steal. It is a steal for you to get all of these results. This opens the door to you understanding how to lose weight forever. Forever. It's like it's the secret code. You crack it with this blood test. It's crazy. And then bodybyAIM360.com. Dr. Dubiak or somebody sits down with you and they're like, you ready? You want to lose weight? Because I can guarantee you we can make it happen. And we could do it the natural way. You put on weight the good old-fashioned natural way. You earned it. Why not earn getting rid of it? Eating the right things, making the right recipes, making the right decisions. He teaches you that. And then you have it forever. Forever. You don't have to go back to like Weight Watchers like that and check in. You've got the tools at your fingertips. BodybyAIM360.com. Knowledge is power. 412-227-9255. That is their number. Call them. Do this. It's the beginning of the future for you. 412-227-9255. BodybyAIM360.com.
Did you get reassessed when they did the reassessments?
Yeah.
How? I'm going to just tell you, I paid $40,000 for my house. It needed a lot of work. I did the work. It got reassessed at 160. And then I went and fought it. And I was like, can you tell me why 160? They're like, well, blah, blah. I'm like, you never came in my house.
Yeah,
you don't even know what I did.
My assessment had everything wrong.
Yeah.
It had that we had no garage, we do. It said we had no fireplaces, we do. Wrong bedrooms, wrong bathroom, all of it. But other than that, I'm sure it's spot on.
Sure.
So bizarre. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So I've been kind of waiting, and I was interested in watching some of the reaction inside this church in St. Paul, where we saw parishioners who were scared for their lives. I mean, it was only 5 months ago when that transgender madness with a gun sprayed a church 20 minutes away from the city's church in St. Paul and killed two children, 2 Catholic kids praying, all school mass, and wounded 30 others, right? Now, they don't want to talk about that anymore. It was a transgender person. What was their manifesto? We don't know anything about it. Now, if it was a white guy, right? If it was somebody who was a right-leaning individual, we'd be all over it, but they buried that so fast. You think those parishioners were thinking about that when these people stormed in screaming at them on Sunday? Because I bet you it ran through a couple minds. These people aren't going to church armed, I'm going to bet. Maybe with their Bible, their rosary. Thoughts for good intent. City's church issues full-throated response to the invasion of their Sunday worship service by leftist agitators. This is at the westernjournal.com. Minnesota church evaded by leftist agitators on Sundays, finally speaking out. City's church, the Christian institution in St. Paul, overrun by protesters in the middle of a service, issued a statement Tuesday denouncing the demonstration and indicating legal action is coming. It's the kind of dignified declaration that organizers of Sunday's riot should be dreading. It is not emotional. It is not visceral. It is factual. And what they're saying is what you did is unacceptable. After declaring in no uncertain terms that its reason for city's church's existence is the Christian faith, the statement forcefully described the incursion in words any American, believe it or not, should understand. On Sunday, January 18th, a group of agitators jarringly disrupted our worship gathering. They accosted members of our congregation, frightened children, and created a scene marked by intimidation and threat. Such conduct is shameful, unlawful, and it will not be tolerated. Invading a church service to disrupt the worship of Jesus or any other act of worship is protected by neither the Christian scriptures nor the laws of this nation. And that, in a nutshell, is what the protesters themselves, their leftist media allies, and particularly deranged Democrats, either don't understand or won't understand until they are made to. What was taking place at the church was a Christian worship service in a private setting. It was a place where men, women, and children gathered to share their belief in the most fundamental relationship between God and the human race. It wasn't some public forum where all sides are welcome to speak their minds on the issue of the day. Like, that might be hard to recognize among these leftists, but when national figures with national platforms like Don Lemon or Democrat Rep. Adelita Grijalva claim that the mob storming that church is some kind of a demonstration protected by the First Amendment to the Constitution, it's a sign that things are badly and dangerously askew. The statement makes clear that the church is open to engaging with the world outside its walls. We welcome respectful dialogue about present issues, and about how the relentless, or the realness, I should say, of Jesus, as revealed in the Bible, provides the only answers to the world's most complex and intractable problems. It also makes clear the centrality of its faith. Jesus Christ, the divine Son of God, lived, died, and rose again for the rescue of all who put their faith in him. He offers a love that transcends cultures, borders, policies, and politics. But there's also what appears to be a carefully worded warning. Careful to be neither inflammatory nor timid. That City's Church is not taking the invasion lightly. Christianity teaches turning the other cheek. This is what it said. As those who've been loved and rescued by him, we will not shrink from worshiping Jesus, nor will we stop teaching and proclaiming the good news that Jesus is the Messiah. Church buildings are meant to be places of peace and solace where worshipers can hear and live out this message. We therefore call on local, state, and national leaders to protect this fundamental right. We are evaluating next steps with our legal counsel. Well, President Trump's DOJ has made it clear it is preparing to step into this legal and moral vacuum that is Minnesota these days. And the city's church statement makes quietly but undeniably the message clear. They will not be turning the other cheek. No. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, good for them. Sue the liver out of these clowns. 1 year into his second term, and the president sits down with Katie Pavlich from News Nation. You know, it's a very refreshing and informative sit down. What he said that he needs you to know that the mainstream media won't tell you. Next. I like Katie Pavlich.
So do I.
Where's she from again? It's not News Nation.
Town Hall.
Town Hall. That's
she.
it.
Well, she did a lot of stuff on Fox, but I guess that's done.
You know what I get from her? I get from her a lot of the same vibe that is Liz Collin. You know, these are people who are very much interested in facts and information and truth and data. And when Liz Collins interviewed the TSA agent who had seen the suitcases of millions upon millions of dollars of cash go through the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, like Liz had every opportunity to be incredulous, to be like, what? And she was just 100% focused. She's Catherine Herridge, right? They don't respond to what they're being told. They allow you to respond to it, right? See, I respond to it. They give it to you. You decide what you think. I appreciate that. I think that's huge. Let me tell you about Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. I love what they do. I love who they are. Good, honest, hardworking people who will transform your home and make it absolutely more valuable. But they'll also give it, I don't know, when you drive to your house and you see that siding is new, or a roof has been replaced, or there's new gutters and downspouts, or that crumbling soffit and fascia underneath, right, is all neat again and tidy, no critters. Your house is warm and dry and safe. Your family is safe. There's just, I don't know, can't put a price tag on that. But home exterior stuff is expensive, so you want to make sure you're spending money with the right company. I believe in Ireland Contracting. If you live in southwestern Pennsylvania, these are your folks, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. They stand by the work they do, and I stand by them because they are friends of ours, and we believe in them for a good reason. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. Let's see what else is going on out there. Deep state serpents. There are so many. 2.92. We've almost crossed over into 3,000 rumbles. Did your air conditioning just kick on?
Yes.
Oh, gosh. Are you freezing?
No.
I might not have as much.
Wow. Heat. He just called me husky.
I might not have as much heat.
No, that's not what you meant.
How dare you?
Are you saying I need to go to More Gains Fitness?
I need to say that you need to knock that off. I know darn well what I have to do. Turkey. Nice try. Go ahead. Tell me about Kelly Morgan.
No, I'm just
Tell
saying.
them something about Kelly Morgan that you think they'd be interested in.
She could kick my ass.
Well, that's not hard.
What? She fits all the things. She's honest, veteran, supported the show from day one. You know
what I like about her?
She gives back. I love that about her, that she gives back. Started a scholarship, wargainsfitness.com. They
High
do
school,
stuff they don't
college,
have to
trade
do.
school. Yeah, she's yes. And she's constantly thinking about other ways
Outside of the box.
like Sniper.
Yeah.
She's constantly thinking about ways to bring you in, to give you more bang for your buck, to introduce you to the world of taking charge of your body.
Always looking at expanding.
And she's the first person to admit to you that she's been heavy and that she has problems with food. She loves sweets and she likes booze. And she had to cut them out. She's like, it's painful. It's miserable. It's like you lose your best friend, but you can power through it and then introduce it back into your world in moderation and succeed. She's like, I'll help you. I'll give you the exercises. I'll show you how to eat. If you give me 90 days, I'll ignite in your body the reclamation of it. And that's what it is. It's called 90 Ignite. And if you go to moregainsfitness.com, click on the button, she'll tell you how to sign up. And you can live anywhere because you could do it remotely. That's the beauty of this. She's got the knowledge and she'll say, look, we're going to do this stuff. You're going to get this blood test. You're going to do this stuff. But then we're going to hunker down and we're going to get it done. And if you give me 3 months of your life, you will lose fat, inches, and weight. And you will gain strength and positivity and a new, leaner shape. Some of these people, by the way, go on their website. The before and afters on the website.
Yeah. The only thing I would say I would call fake news on her.
Oh.
She said she could give me a butt.
A butt?
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know about that.
It would involve some lunging, perhaps. Some squats. Maybe some kettlebell workouts. Some swings. I could see her doing it.
I lunge to the beer fridge. I have to lunge for the dots.
Are you still eating dots?
No, I just ran out.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, they are the best. I know we shouldn't drink beer. They are the best with beer.
They are good. I have been eating pistachios.
With beer?
Well, no, just at night before I go to bed, I take a handful of pistachios. I can't get enough.
Sorry, Dots, the original. They have all kinds.
Don't put cinnamon on that. I want salt.
Well, they have a honey mustard one. It's pretty good.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. I think.
Wow.
They don't sell it in the huge bag yet. As soon as they do,
the funny thing is,
I could do some damage with Dots.
He doesn't eat that much.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
You just don't eat that much. I probably eat more than you do. Program. I like to get interviews with President Trump from different kinds of people to not only hear what he has to say, that's the most important thing, but I'm interested in how people interview him. And I got to say, Katie Pavlich, who used to be with Town Hall, used to work with Fox News. She's apparently now working for News Nation. She's great. She's great. And you can tell the style of an interviewer very easily because she lets him talk. I don't hear her one single time interrupt Donald Trump. Now, so this is the 1 year, commemoration of the first full year of the second term. And he decides to sit down with Katie Pavlich, which I think is fantastic. And she starts asking, this is a very interesting question out of the gates. She's asking him, Iranian state television, did you see this? They aired a Trump threat featuring a photo of the Butler assassination attempt. And it's by no means funny, and Trump is all over it. Iranian state television aired a vile threat against President Donald Trump earlier this week, referencing the 47th president's near assassination while on the campaign trail in Butler, Pennsylvania, 2024. The clip showed a sign held by a demonstrator at a pro-Iranian regime gathering. It featured a now iconic photo of Trump standing on stage with the bloodied ear, the fight, 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 right? But the caption below said, in Farsi, it said, this time, the bullet won't miss. It said, this time it won't miss, meaning the bullet. That's not really a veiled threat. That is a threat to the president of the United States. We're gunning for you. To which point, Katie Pavlich asks him a question about that. And so it comes out that he's got this kill switch. President Trump has created a kill switch with his administration. Look, if anything happens to me, I want you to do this to Iran. Are you ready for this? Listen.
I know that you can't talk about what's on the table, but what is your response to Iran's leadership in the regime continuing to taunt you, threaten you, especially given over the weekend you said it's time for new leadership in Iran?
Well, they shouldn't be doing it, but I've left notification. Anything ever happens, we're going to blow the whole country is going to get blown up. So we've, originally Biden should have said something, when they made a statement. We always said, why isn't Biden saying anything? Because he didn't. But a president has to defend a president. Like if I were here and they were making that threat to somebody, not even a president, but somebody like they did with me, I would absolutely hit them so hard. But I have very firm instructions. Anything happens, they're going to wipe them off the face of this earth.
Wow. You don't think Iran, which has already had their nuclear capabilities wiped off of the face of the earth, you think they haven't been paying attention to all of the drug boats, right? You think they didn't pay attention to what they did to take Maduro into custody so he can face the music here in America for all of the things he's done? Of course Iran's paying attention, and Trump just said, you fiddle with me, we will obliterate you and your country. You want to try us? Because the victory that you would enjoy if you hate Trump would be short-lived, because then you'd be fish food too. President Trump says this when Katie Pavlich asks him about Greenland, and this is a very concise answer that cuts through all of the blowhardia on the news, creating the optics that Trump is some dictator who just wants this and he just wants to take Greenland. He wants to do that. No, he's got very strategic reasons, and it's all about the Golden Dome.
It's located in such a place that is literally so important for national security. When you come to Russia, when you come to China, a lot of Chinese boats, a lot of Russian, ships, military ships. It's in a location that is very important for our national security and also for the international security of the world, literally. It's a very big piece of land. It's really cold, got a lot of ice on it. So it's not like we're going to build a nice real estate development or anything.
No golf course on Greenland?
I don't see a golf course. You'd have to wear a lot of very heavy clothing. We're not going to set any records with golf, but I will tell you that it's very important to the United States. And as an example, we're building the Golden Dome, which we're going to have a dome over the country. If somebody wants to shoot missiles, it'll knock them out of the air like matchsticks. It'll go very nicely. It's amazing. Ronald Reagan wanted this many, many years ago. He was ahead of his time. But the problem is you didn't have equipment that worked. Today, the equipment is unbelievable. You've seen it. I mean, we can knock a missile coming at thousands of miles an hour. It's like, and you get literally 100% of them. Mm-hmm. The technology is so good. So we're building a Golden Dome, and having Greenland makes it a much more effective Golden Dome.
So you're saying Greenland is essential for the security of the United States and the free Western world for
Correct.
the sake of missile defense.
That is correct.
And that's why we need Greenland.
That is correct. And even beyond missile defense, but it is so important for the Golden Dome. It's so important for just national and actually international security.
Okay, so that makes sense, right? It is in a location geographically that is important to us, yes. And yes, there are so many untapped natural resources. Denmark hasn't helped the people of Greenland explore that and reap the benefits monetarily. The United States has the technology to do that. The same way they're going to help Venezuela. How? Well, we have the technology to take out your oil, process it because it's thick and it's sour. It's not light and sweet. And we can process it and sell it, and you can have some of the proceeds. That's what we're going to do. Makes sense. Here's President Trump on Minnesota, the 1-2 punch. They're being ripped off by fraudsters, and professional protesters can get paid to agitate and try to stop ICE.
I think you have two problems. Number one, you have $19 billion worth of stolen money. At least, I think the number is going to be much higher. And you have that in California. You have it in other states also, I believe, when you go through it. So that's a big problem. And then you have the agitators, anarchists. You know, I watched sort of everything. I see it all. And I see people screaming, shame, shame. You know, this is not people that are like living in Minnesota. These are professional, paid people. They're like actors. I mean, I watched the guy last night in the church. He was, and not just Don Lemon. Don Lemon's a loser. But I watched the guy last night in the church. This guy's a professional guy, and he actually admits to it. He gets paid a lot of money to go and cause trouble. And you see that. What they don't see is that ICE gets rid of murderers, drug dealers, Tren de Aragua, I mean, the worst gang in the world, anywhere in the world, MS-13, Tren de, but these are the worst gangs, and they get rid of them. They take them out. And I say, something's wrong when a place like Minnesota, which is a good place, it's got a horrible governor, it's got horrible people. This Ilhan Omar is horrible. I mean, she comes from a country that doesn't even have a government. They have nothing. And she comes here and she lectures us on the Constitution. She's got constitutional rights. She's just horrible. Somebody said she's worth $30 million. Well, therefore, she's obviously a very dishonest person, and she should be looked at for that. So you have a couple of things. You have the money thing, and then you have the all of the fake nonsense going on and screaming. The people, they're so professional. They hold their cameras up high, and it's a terrible thing going on in Minnesota.
Alas, shortly after that, then they announced that Ilhan Omar is under investigation for her outlandish net worth. You cannot explain it away. Here's President Trump on the steep federal job cuts. Look, when you have 2.2 million people, but you only have like 800,000 positions, what are we doing? Trump made the call, said he didn't like it, but it's important.
Look, I hate to fire people, but we fired hundreds of thousands of federal employees because we had 10 people to do one job. And those people probably didn't like it very much. And now they're in the private sector and they're getting 2 and 3 times more money and they're doing well. And the only way a country can make it, you can't have too many government jobs because that's not a job that's going to, as we say, make America great again. So those people have now transitioned into the private sector. I could give you the greatest numbers ever. I'll just hire 1 million or 2 million federal workers tomorrow, and you'll see that we're going to be at 2.5% as opposed to 3% or 3.5%. You could do anything. That's what the Democrats do. They hire people to work in the federal government. Then they say they have good unemployment numbers, okay? I don't do that. And it's easy to do, and it looks good, but ultimately you can't build a country that way. Our country is doing unbelievably well. We have great unemployment numbers, and we really, I mean, many of these people have transitioned already from the federal government into private jobs.
I mean, I think it makes sense. There's nothing he says that you're like, well, I don't really agree with that. Why are we paying people to do stuff that we don't need? Why are we doing that? We're wasting money, right? To beef up the employment numbers. That's what the Biden administration did. That's ridiculous. And finally, she asks him a very interesting question. What would you like your legacy to be?
I would love my legacy to be that I was a great president, and a great president covers a lot of territory. We were safe, we were prosperous, we were doing well, we were happy as a country. I'd like to be known as a great president. A great president takes it all in.
Takes it all in. Well, that great president just truthed this out from Davos at the World Economic Forum. Based upon a very productive meeting that I've had with the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, we have formed the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region. This solution, if consummated, will be a great one for the United States of America and all NATO nations. Based upon this understanding, I will not be imposing the tariffs that were scheduled to go into effect on February 1st. Leverage, ladies and gentlemen. Additional discussions are being held concerning the Golden Dome as it pertains to Greenland. Further information will be made available as discussions progress. Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and various others as needed will be responsible for the negotiations. They will report directly to me. Thank you for your attention to this matter. What? And the CNN babe said they thought Trump was low energy yesterday. Oh, I don't know. He might have a few things going on, you twits. When we come back, hey, Kamala Harris, she's got a few things going on, too. Man, she blew through $1.4 billion like white on rice. 107 days in her failed bid to be the president of the United States. But hey, at least the consolation prize is a pretty nice pad in Malibu. Oh, buckle up for this one. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's amazing how he's like, you know what? You don't want to play with us? Screw you. I'm going to tariff you. I'm going to tariff the liver out of you in June if you still haven't come to your senses. And these people are like, he calls every bluff. And all he says is, like, this is what we're going to do. We've done everything for you idiots all these years. You haven't paid us back. This is what we want. We're going to get it. You can either be with us or you can be against us. Suck it. I like it. How about you guys? I like it a lot.
Amanda said if we haven't tried the buffalo dots. Whoa, you just went away.
I don't.
There you go.
It's weird. I don't know why.
You know what? I think I touched this and it sparked it. Like static.
Oh, is that right?
And then you went away. So
Okay.
It might have been my fault. She said if we haven't tried the buffalo flavored dots, we don't know what we're missing.
I don't know if I trust her.
Well, you know, the great thing about dots is with beer, the flavor's just the salt and like this peppery. They're just, now I want pretzels and beer.
See, I don't crave them, but once I start eating them, I can't stop.
Yeah. What,
It's like those little sesame
see,
things.
So with this schedule now,
or wasabi peas.
When is the appropriate time to crack a beer? Like before, it was like 3 o'clock. Because you're going to bed in a couple hours.
I've tried to be better, and I don't until 5 or after 5. Usually, I got stuff going on. I have a call after this show with our friends at Cozy Earth, so I'm going to have to Scooby out of here fast. Sorry to say. I've asked them to push it back. They just bumped it up to 3:15, and I'm like, I'm not out of here until then. So can we push it to 3:30? And I love how we'll figure it out, hopefully. See, you guys get to hear everything. But Cozy Earth is coming back. I need Chef IQ. I'm going to go hard on Chef IQ.
What? Can we get me another set of sheets for free?
Why?
Because I keep washing the same ones over and over again.
So do I. They gave me the wrong pair. They're beautiful, but they're for a deeper mattress. And so there's like a lot of extra zhuzh. I swear to God, I'll throw go about the ridiculous changes already happening in Virginia with your now complete across the board Democrat leadership. Governor, the whole legislative system, they're run by Democrats. Taxes are going up. We've got Chicago people there worried because their tax bills are going up, $700. One guy said he's doubled. He's now paying $18,000, $19,000 in property tax. It's untenable, right? Democrats don't understand that you can't get blood from a rock, and you can't squeeze people for money they don't have just because your irresponsible leadership requires you to continually dip into the well the way good progressives and socialists do. It's always somebody else's money you're spending. And yet we, the people, never get any of the benefits. Well, it's a different story for dear old Kamala Harris. This is one of those stories who blew through $1.4 billion in just 107 days in a run-up to the fantastically failed election for her in 2014 or 2024. Here's your headline, New York Post, if it just kind of wets your whistle a little bit. Dems fume as Kamala Harris bunkers down in a new $8 million Malibu mansion. Really? Pay to play, right? All of the gifts, all of the bonuses. Well, this is what's in it, ladies and gentlemen. This is why the people never want to leave. This is why they become so co-opted, so corrupted, so depraved and desperate. They'll do anything to stay in power because I guess it pays off. You don't have to have good ideas. You don't even have to be able to communicate effectively well to get yourself an $8 million Malibu mansion. I'm looking at it. It's quite expansive. I mean, like, for a woman with no kids, like, whatever. She's got that whack job's daughter, but whatever. Democrats are growing increasingly irritated with former Vice President Kamala Harris's retreat from public life as she holds up in an $8 million oceanfront Malibu mansion with a taxpayer-funded security detail. Can you imagine getting that short stick? Good Lord. Harris, who'd vowed that she would not go quietly into the night following her embarrassing 2024 election loss to President Trump, has since adopted a withdrawn lifestyle, kind of bohemian almost, keeping mostly out of the public eye. She's not someone who likes being out and about. She doesn't really want to engage with people in a way that isn't already orchestrated, a Democratic consultant in her circle told Politico. Wow, she sounds like a great president, right? But her absence has been really notable and to some people, very offensive. Who wants her back? Go away. We didn't have a going away party. We had a go away party for her. When she got back to Los Angeles last January, wildfires were still smoldering across the region, just a few miles from Harris's Brentwood home. While she and her husband, Doug, made a few fire recovery-related appearances, Harris embraced a level of privacy she hasn't known since before she ran for office as San Francisco's district attorney in 2002. Well, Her home is absolutely lovely, you guys. She recently bought with Doug Emhoff. Isn't it amazing? An $8 million home in a ritzy oceanfront pocket of Malibu that sits in a secluded enclave removed from everyday Angelinos. It's lovely. I see some bougainvillea creeping along the side of this vast, stately structure. The status of the couple's 4-bedroom, 3,500 square foot home in Brentwood was unclear, but you know what? What the hell? Critics pointed out that taxpayers continue to bear the cost of her suck, even though Harris enjoys a low-profile existence and has built a pretty much a vanished public life. Oh, it's got a beautiful pool. Looks like a little sun area over here. Lots of windows. Look, I don't know about you guys, but we can see what this is all about. Don't you love when you see Bobby Kennedy and his wife on a plane in coach? Right? Because that's the way they travel. Here, Kamala Harris, who is a low IQ DEI individual who clearly was a really bad suggestion for any kind of public office. Well, you know, this is what you get. There's got to be something that's more substantial that we can do. It's not enough to have voter ID. It's not enough to push the SAVE Act. It's not enough to light a fire under John Thune. It's not enough to say, for the love of all that is holy, nuke the freaking filibuster and pass one of something. If we don't get serious about term limits, it's never going to happen. And then the generational grift and theft of the American people and the rubbing it in your face in an $8 million waterfront mansion in Malibu. I wonder if she was near where Hunter used to be. They could be neighbors. Just kind of tastes gross, doesn't it? Blah, 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 blah. Thanks for being part of the program. Can't wait to give you all of the highlights from Davos tomorrow as we reconnect. Love you guys. Have a great day. Peace.